Good afternoon and welcome here to Nethermoor for this afternoon's Skrill North game between Guiseley and Colwyn Bay. A big game this afternoon, of course, for the Lions, who need to win if they are going to press on and get into those playoff spaces. Currently fifth in the table, with Boston United hot on their heels, looking to take away that final playoff berth after a fantastic week, a fantastic 2-0 victory against Harrogate Town on Tuesday night. The Lions do need to just win 2 and draw 1 of their final 3 games to guarantee them their place in the playoffs. For goodness knows, how many times is it consecutively, Tom? 4 times consecutively in the playoffs?
I've lost count.
It's quite a record we've had, but a bit of disappointment's been the previous results. Who knows? This time it could be something different. It could be something a little bit special this year with the form that we've been going into this afternoon. I'm Colin Robertson. You're listening to Guiseley AFC Radio. We'll be bringing you the full coverage of this game, plus a bit more. Bringing you the team news very shortly, and also a conversation that Tom's had with Mark Bauer. But Tom Feeney, who will be commentating and giving us his expert opinion in the build-up here, will also be alongside us. So, Tom, of course, I mean, it seems to be a bit like Groundhog Day every week in, week out. This is a must-win game. It's a must-win game. Every game has been a must-win game for so long as we've rocketed up the table to get where we are today, and today none more so. It's another must-win game, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think having that attitude, is so important, because if Guiseley know if they take their eye off the ball today, they're letting Boston back into it. So they've got to win today, go to Workington, get a win then, and be in a position where we don't have to rely on other teams slipping up, because we know that, Boston, they're a good team, and they've got 3 really tough games, but for Guiseley, it's 3 games where if, they've got the right attitude, they're 3 winnable games. Get the 9 points, get the 7 points, the playoffs are guaranteed, and, it'll be a real good end to the season, let's hope.
And that run into the end of the season, of course, for us starts this afternoon with Colwyn Bay at home, but on Monday, a winnable, if not difficult, trip to Workington. Workington propping up the bottom of the table. Certainly a side that you'd expect that Guiseley would get 3 points from. And then on the final day of the season, which is of course our Walk for Wesley Day, which we're promoting, is the Gloucester City game at home. Gloucester right at the bottom end of the table too. Will be clear from the relegation zone, will have nothing to play for. But you look at them, they're all winnable. But also you think, well, actually there could also be quite sticky wickets as well, couldn't they? There could be all very slippery games. Yeah,
most definitely. I think when you look at Colwyn Bay and Gloucester, some of that, they're not playing for anything in terms of league position, but some of their players are out of contract. Most of their players are going to be out of contract at the end of the season, so they really are playing for their futures. They want to, maybe 1 or 2 reserve players will be given a chance to try and force their way into the first team for next season and earn a contract. So, that we will be playing teams which have determined players that want to get the win, players that want to impress. So there's not really going to be an easy game out of the 3, but we just know on our ability, if we get the win, if we can put the performances in, we will get the wins.
Well, that's a big ask, isn't it? Boston are the only team realistically that can catch Guiseley in that final spot, but they're only 3 points behind. They've got a better goal difference. They have a game against Leamington this afternoon. That will be one they'll be looking to get the 3 points from. Leamington, of course, in 13th spot, mid-table. Earned out a credible draw against a weakened Harrogate Town side a couple of weeks ago. They then travel to North Ferriby United. And, of course, North Ferriby toe-to-toe with Telford at the top of the table, with a game in hand over Telford, and looking to get every point they can to win the title, and the title of course means promotion through to the Conference Premier, which would be a remarkable feat for North Ferriby considering the scale of clubs around them, Telford and Altrincham, Hensford. And then on Saturday, of course, Boston United then have a final game of the season themselves against a lower placed Worcester City, 14th in the league table, sort of coasting to the end of the season. So that's not a bad run. The obvious one is the North Ferriby game.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be a real tight game. But again, the way Boston play, if they really do step their game up for that match, I can see them beating North Ferriby. It's going to be a close game. And I think Mark knows that he can't rely on other results. Guys, they don't want to. We want to be in a position where we can just focus on our own wins, get the points on the board, and then forget about everyone else really, and get into them playoffs.
Well, don't forget, your feedback vital just to let us know we're on air. We've had a technology change this morning, a new internet broadcasting system or Wi-Fi system, so we don't know if it's working or not. So the best thing for you to do is to tweet us at Guiseley Radio if you are listening from afar. I'm sure many of you will be in the ground anyway today and listening as we are also broadcasting on an FM signal this afternoon. So some of you can also pick that up locally on 87.5, but we won't go into that too much in case the authorities are listening. But it's a huge help to us if you can tweet us and can let us know if you're listening from afar that we're coming through loud and clear this afternoon. Tom spoke to Mark Bauer earlier on just to get the manager's views ahead of this afternoon's game.
7 points and you've done it, but of course it's going to be tougher than that.
Yeah, nothing ever runs as smoothly as you'd like it to, or people would expect. This league throws up bizarre scorelines. I was only at Stalybridge on Wednesday night to see Ferriby scrape past them. Second topping and second bottom. So can't take anything for granted. What we've got to do is go out and do what we've done over the last sort of 8-10 weeks and start a game well. Look to assert our game on the opposition, but be respectful to what they do, but ultimately go out and try and win the game.
Whenever Guiseley play Colwyn Bay, it always seems to be a tough game and a narrow result for either side. So are you expecting that again today?
Yeah, they're a good side, very good side. This is the highest ever placing in the Conference North, so they've had a good season and they'll want to be finishing on a high. The managers played at the highest level, so you won't accept anyone coming off the game thinking it's just an end of season game for them. They're going to be right at it, and like I say, it's always tight against them no matter what, which league it is. So we know what to expect from them. We've got to concentrate on our jobs and go out and look to win.
It's the penultimate league game at Nethermoor, and the crowd, the numbers are going up. But just how important is a noisy crowd?
It's brilliant. Yeah, it's brilliant, to see all the way around the ground filled with people. So the atmosphere helps. The support's been, terrific, not just at home, but we've had some great away followings as well. And it just helps, can lift the lads when they're just going through a period maybe when the game's catching up and their legs are feeling heavy. If they've got that extra little bit just pushing them on, it can make all the difference. So hopefully that there'll be a fair number in today and that they'll be able to back us with noise. And
finally, a bit of team news. AJ and Wayne, they both came off with little knocks on Tuesday. How are they doing?
AJ's not fit to play today, but Wayne's come through just about okay. So he's just had a fitness test and says he feels okay. So we'll start with Wayne and hopefully can produce some of the performances that he's been producing recently.
Thanks, Mark.
So that was Mark Bauer talking to Tom Feeney just ahead of this afternoon's game, obviously giving us the news that Alex Johnson not passed a fitness test for this afternoon. Perhaps not surprisingly, he struggled with a nasty knock on Tuesday night against Harrogate Town. But Wayne Brooksby has just, thankfully, managed to make the starting lineup. Let's just go through those starting 11s, just so that you've got the away team first. They are playing with Chris Sanner, Danny Taylor, Anthony Stevens, Jonathan Royal, Tom Smith, Jamie Crowther, Gareth Evans, Sean Williams, Rob Hopley, Jamie Ellison, Cameron Darkwa, and on the bench Josh Clark, Denislav Piliner, Jamie Tolley, Frank Sinclair, Jordan Taylor, and of course one of the names there which will be of note is Frank Sinclair. Tom, just before we get started with that, just give us your thoughts on the Colwyn Bay side.
Yeah, they're a dangerous outfit when you look at them. They've got a number of good players. Their captain, Rob Hopley, is a dangerous player, someone who, if you give him time and possession, he really can punish you. Cameron Darkwa, a lot of pace, someone who really can, again, someone who can punish you. And if Guiseley aren't at their best, if they're not giving it 100% today, if they, their eye is off the ball, they've got to side Colwyn Bay an attacking lineup that can really punish you. And so for Colwyn, it's going to be a case that they've got one or two players again out of contract, so they're playing for their futures, and they'll be looking to impress their gaffer.
Yeah, and it's going to be a good end to their season relative to what they had last year in that awful relegation battle that they were plummeted into, and the miracle that they managed to pull off with under Frank Sinclair. And of course they got that first point against us, didn't they, in that 2-2 draw.
Yeah, compare the seasons really. Colwyn Bay, they've had a great year, and this is the highest they've ever been in terms of the league pyramid in this division. So it's a case it's been a really good season for them, and they'll be just looking to continue that momentum, end with getting a few more points, and not letting their season go out with a whimper.
So for the Lions, the lineup this afternoon: Stephen Drench in goal, Andy Holdsworth, Rhys Maynell, Danny Hall, Danny Ellis, who's making his 400th appearance this afternoon for the Lions, Jake Lawler, Wayne Brooksby, Danny Boschel, Adam Boys, Danny Forrest and Gavin Rothery. So no Alex Johnson. On the bench, Michael Potts, Ben Parker, Ryan Williams, Ollie Johnson and Stephen Dickinson. So an opportunity for Ryan Williams to get into the first team substitutes bench, and Ben Parker also. But it's looking a little bit more threadbare than it was looking a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, the injuries have taken a toll on Guiseley's bench, definitely. When you look at the likes of Ryan Williams, he's someone who has played a couple of West Riding County Cup games. I've been impressed with him. I think he's someone who, when he gets on the ball, his intention is always just to get forward and get a goal. And, it's good to see Ben Parker back. Hopefully he'll just be rested in, and, no need to force his way into the squad just right now. But I think he'll probably be playing on Monday just to, get him 90 minutes before, hopefully, that playoff berth. Well,
thank you, Tom. And you will continue, because Tom's going to start us off with the first half of this commentary, of this first half. And we'll be ably joined by the expertise and tones of Nick Keefe. The two sides are out now and about ready to get underway. So I'll hand over to you, matchday commentator Tom Feeney.
Well, thank you, Colin. And so today it's Guiseley against Colwyn Bay, and both sides have now lined up, both sides on the pitch and ready for the kick-off. The coin toss being taken place now. Danny Ellis, 400th appearance for the club. He's the captain for the day, and of course such a fantastic achievement it is for Ellis. He was speaking to me before the game and he was saying he never thought he'd get to such a record. Nick, what an achievement this is for Danny Ellis, 400 games.
At the start of the season, I mentioned in passing that I considered Danny Ellis to be sort of Mr. Guiseley. He's involved at all levels of the club with the academy side. He's obviously been a stalwart right through for the better part of a decade in the Guiseley team now, and wearing the captain's armband as well today, and that's a really nice touch.
Well, it's Colwyn Bay who will kick off, and they in their red kit, and well, this is a good game for them. No real pressure on them. They're 10th in the league. They're safe from relegation, and the kick-off takes place. And the ball in Colwyn Bay's half. They've passed it back now, getting the ball forward into Guiseley's half. And Jake Lawler makes a good tackle, but Colwyn Bay are able to keep the ball, trying to get it forward. Good tackle by Danny Ellis. And he's just gone in there and caught him about 35 yards from goal. And, well, a good start for Colwyn Bay.
Yeah, moving the ball around quickly, just a slightly soft free kick to give away. Hopefully just slightly too far out to be a shooting opportunity, but as you say, just on the right of centre, the left back here is lining up to have a go at it.
Anthony Stevens on the ball now, and about 30 yards out. It looks like he's going to have a shot, but there are a number of Colwyn Bay players in the box if a pass is suffice, but he goes for goal and he has a shot, and Drench parries it out and he just gets it past the penalty box, and guys are able to clear it, and Danny Boschel has taken the ball past the halfway line, just gets inside Colwyn Bay's half, tries to get it forward to Adam Boys, who's central of the goal, 20 yards out. Instead the ball is tackled, but Guiseley get the ball back. Jake Lawler just inside Colwyn Bay's half to the left. Again, Guiseley just giving the ball away, and Colwyn Bay are going to be able to break. Well, it looked like they were. The ball just on the halfway line when Andy Holdsworth got a good tackle in. But again, Colwyn Bay get possession, aim the ball forward to the right, And the ball goes out for a throw, which Danny Ellis will take just on line with the penalty box.
Good pressing by Colwyn Bay. It was a patient sort of build up by Guiseley, but in the end just crowding out to Gavin Rothery and then winning the ball well in midfield. And it will be a battle today, don't mistake that. It's a Frank Sinclair team. They've got nothing to play for other than pride and maybe 1 or 2 league positions, but they're certainly not going to come and stroll around like their season's already finished.
Well, the frame was taken by Holdsworth, and it was given to Gavin Rothery, who's able to get a deflection. And just on the halfway line now, it's going to be Holdsworth to take this throw-in once again. And, well, it's currently 0-0, a couple of minutes gone. And for Guiseley, well, they'll be hoping to get a goal sooner rather than later. Andy Holdsworth fires the ball all the way back, making Reece Maynell run for it, nearly going out on the left side. But Maynell does well, finds Danny Forrest, who is having a bit of a battle. And, well, the referee, this is on the left side, just on the left wing, in line with the penalty area, is given a free kick there. I'm not 100% sure why.
It was a little bit of a tussle. I didn't see a foul, but the situation was of Guiseley's own making, and they've got a dangerous set piece to try and defend from now.
Anthony Stevens, about 25 yards out, but right to the left side, nearly on the... it was crossed in there. Not much on it, doesn't pass the first man, but Stevens again aims it back into the area. Steve Drench does really well, catches the ball and throws it to Wayne Brooksby, who's on the right side, bursting into Colwyn Bay half. He's back 15 yards inside the half when he's cutting inside, finds Adam Boys, who's in the penalty area, finds Jake Lawler. They're going backwards now, Guiseley, but they're getting the ball forward now with Andy Holdsworth, crosses it in, and it looked like it took a little touch, but Danny Forrest has kept it in on the left side, aiming to get a cross in. Does so, tries to find Boys. Ball now lands to Jake Lawler, who's just outside the penalty area, to Forrest, to Rothery. And, well, Colwyn Bay just on the penalty, inside the area, were able to clear it then onto the halfway line, but it found Danny Ellis. But Ellis's attempted pass to Reece Maynell on the left side just goes out of play.
Yeah, nice interplay between Danny Forrest and Gavin Rothery. Danny will be delighted to get a start, getting himself into the team, and we've seen him go all out when he's made his cameos from the bench in recent weeks. I would expect to see him give absolutely everything today because he wants to keep his place in the team. Well,
the frame was taken by Colwyn Bay, but it's gone straight to Steve Drench, the goalkeeper, after a few deflections, and Drench is able to clear it, trying to get it up to Wayne Brooksby, who's on the right side, but Colwyn Bay are able to get it, well, they've actually cleared it straight back to Steve Drench, who's now got plenty of time. He's just outside his own area, so he better make sure he gets some distance on this clearance, and he does, finds Andy Holdsworth, who's on the right side, to Wayne Brooksby, to Forrest, and it's Gavin Rothery even who's cutting inside, and it's now to Reece Maynell on the left side, just inside the Colwyn Bay half, to Boschel, back to Maynell. Nice little interchange between the two. Maynell aims in towards Boys. Boys there, not able to get his body in the way to get the ball, and it goes straight to Colwyn Bay's keeper, Chris Sanner.
Perfect weather for playing football as well today. Beautiful sunny day. Sun's coming in and out a little bit, but it's not low enough to be a vision hazard yet, and just enough of a breeze to keep it fresh and interesting. And we look like we're going to have an open game of football here.
Hopefully a winning game of football as well for Guiseley. Steve Drench takes the ball, clears it, and it actually takes a deflection, goes straight back to Steve Drench. He looked relieved there because he was, again, just outside his own area. This time he finds Danny Forrest just inside the Colwyn Bay half, and just for a second there it looked like Adam Boys might be able to take advantage of a mistake in the Colwyn Bay defence. The ball's going to fall to Jake Lawler about 30 yards out. He was dead centre, finds Wayne Brooksby on the wing. Brooksby trying to cut inside, he's taken down just on the edge, and well, the referee's given advantage, and the advantage has come to nothing. Gavin Rothery, always on the stretch, gives it back to the keeper, but that was should have really been a free kick. Well, Colwyn Bay are able to clear the ball now, and getting to the wing, it's crossed in. Steve Drench is trying to get to the ball. In the end, he decided to leave it. The ball flung into the area. Drench misses it, but so does the Colwyn Bay striker, and guys are there from attack to defence in no time.
Yeah, but that move all started with a fantastic clearance by Stephen Drench, all the way from right to left across the pitch onto the feet of Danny Forrest, and that was what brought about that attacking possession. And it just shows how quickly the game can move when you've got such an accurate distributor of the ball at the back. And also, it means if Guiseley are miles forward, then Colwyn will be looking to get at them on the break, as you would expect the away team to do in that situation where they're being penned back. They'll come out with pace, and Guiseley need to be alert.
Steve Drench with the goal kick. It takes a deflection off Cameron Darkwart and goes out for a Guiseley throw in dead on the halfway line. Holdsworth to Lawler. Expanding play, going from one wing to the other, finding Forrest, who then finds Rhys Maynell on the left, to Danny Boschel, who's now in the centre, and he finds Gavin Rothery, who's trying to cut inside, and instead the ball goes to Wayne Brooksby on the wing. Brooksby to Rothery. Brooksby, it's a loose pass, finds only a Colwyn Bay defender, and Guiseley, well, again, just having to go back. Danny Ellis with a clever header to Steve Drench, who was just inside his area, and now Guiseley will be going to go on the attack yet again. Maynell to Hall. This is good play by Guiseley, just keeping possession. Hall now just working his way inside the Colwyn Bay half. Maynell going down the left wing, trying to find Adam Boys. Just a little bit too much on it, and it meant that Colwyn Bay are able to clear. Colwyn Bay, they're trying to get the ball out of their own half. Takes the deflection off Danny Forrest, and this game really has just been from one end to the other.
Yeah, it has, although without too many chances on goal being made just yet. But both teams look willing to pass it around and take a long option to feet or into space when necessary as well. So it's got the potential to be unpredictable, this.
Well, Colwyn Bay with the throw-in. It's a real long throw by Danny Taylor. Gets the ball in from his own half into the Guiseley half. And after a deflection, Danny Hall has to clear the ball out for a throw-in, which is going to be right near the corner flag on the left side. And is it going to be a corner that's going to be taken? I can't see.
Yeah, I think it's a corner.
It is going to be a corner, yes. It looked like it was either going to be just on the edge, but corner taken short. It's Evans looking to get a cross in, and the ball is whipped into the area. It hits off a Colwyn play shoulder, and there's a shot which is just cleared, and Colwyn Bay are in now, and it's a fantastic save by Steve Drench. The ball getting into the area, and it was the captain Rob Hopley who took 3 touches, has a shot. Steve Drench, a big right hand, and gets the ball out for a corner. That looked like that was a goal.
Wow, what a save that was. I mean, the ball was pinging around in the area. Guys, he just couldn't get it clear. It was a powerful shot one-on-one with the keeper, and how he's got enough on it to turn it over the bar there, I'll never know.
Ball whipped in now. Danny Ellis does well to get his head on it and get it out for another corner on the left side. But that save by Steve Drench, that is world class.
Well, it was a reaction stop, but he had enough behind it, as I say, that falling down to his left, with the ball travelling towards his right hand at about sort of shoulder height, at standing height, he's managed to turn it up in the air with enough on it that it's gone over the bar and then landed on the top of the roof of the netting as it spun behind.
Another corner taken, this time by Sean Williams. It's cleared by Andy Holdsworth, who's just by his post. And, the offside flag has gone up. The ball was actually delivered back into the area, and Rob Hopley with another chance got his head on it, but the offside flag was up. An easy save for Drench this time, who distributes quickly and effectively to Danny Hall, who's just inside his own area, to Jake Lawler. They're working their way into getting out of their own half, and it's Lawler's ball which has caused a problem for Colwyn Bay there. Adam Boys working his way just on right by the corner flag for Colwyn Bay, but they're able to get a throw in after the ball deflects off Adam Boys.
Guys, they just need to reset a little bit now. They've been under a bit of pressure in the last few minutes, and I think Colwyn Bay have had the best of the chances so far. They just need to maybe up the intensity a little bit and see if they can start moving the ball forward with a bit more purpose again.
Danny Ellis on the ball now. He got that off Steve Drench, and Ellis again just lofting it forward, trying to get it into the Colwyn Bay area. He does that well, but Adam Boys hadn't read the pass, and the ball goes straight to Chris Sanner, the Colwyn Bay goalkeeper. Ball cleared now by Colwyn Bay, just on the halfway line, and a little tussle there between Colwyn Bay and Guiseley players. But it's Colwyn Bay who are going to keep possession, and it's the right back Danny Taylor who, actually, he's found Jonathan Royal, who's tackled by Adam Boys about 50 yards out, just inside the Guiseley just inside the Colwyn Bay half, finds Danny Forrest, who's working his way down the wing, finds Reece Maynell to Lawler, who's on the centre. It's a good pass to Forrest in the area, but Forrest's attempted cutback is averted, and Colwyn Bay look like they're going to be able to clear it, and they do for a Colwyn Bay throw. A deflection off Danny Forrest, again right by that corner flag on the right side.
Yeah, and again, all of that brought about by one intervention. It was Adam Boyes' challenge, and certainly Bay will know now that Boyes challenges and tackles like a defender, and he's not a striker to just be ignored while he's around and nearby, because he can make ball-winning interventions there. That obviously, because of where he plays on the pitch, anytime he wins the ball for Guiseley, it makes a dangerous position.
Well, Guiseley have in the end got the ball back from that throw-in, and it's Reece Maynell on the right side. Does well, tries to find Wayne Brooks, but it just takes a little nick off a Colwyn Bay player, and Colwyn Bay now going from right to left with a pass, but it's Andy Holdsworth who does well. Just just on the edge of his area, he found Steve Drench. Drench clears it. It deflects off Jamie Ellison and goes straight into the grateful hands of Drench. And Drench, who was out of his goal there, that could have gone anywhere. That could have gone in the back of the net.
Well, that was pinball clearance stuff, wasn't it? I think that was going to be one of those where it was going to skid along the ground, and you'd think he'd shanked his clearance, and then you saw it land at the feet of a Wayne Brooksby or someone like that. But obviously chased down and blocked and bounced straight off, and very, very lucky that it bounced straight back into his hands. Meanwhile, Guiseley are working hard to win it in midfield here. And
Guiseley have won it in midfield, just inside their own half. Jake Lawler finds Wayne Brooksby, who was tackled on the halfway line by Gareth Evans. The referee doesn't look like he's going to be giving a card out. There were just no real complaints for a card, but a complaint for that free kick to be given, and it was.
No, it was a 50-50 challenge. I think you could argue that it was a free kick, but no more than that. It's just a bit heart in mouth, and anytime Wayne gets a rap on his ankles at the moment, because we know he had to come off with an ankle injury in the week.
Well, Steve Drench a few moments ago miskicked, and he's going to be taking this free kick on the halfway line, so he'll be hoping he gets plenty of distance on this.
Love it. Absolutely love it when he comes forward to the halfway line to take a free kick.
Drench does get the distance. It's going to land into the penalty area, aiming for Danny Ellis. Guiseley working their way into the area, and Jake Lawler just trying to get his head on it. In the end, Colwyn Bay are going to be able to clear the ball. It's about 25 yards out. It's Rob Hopley. He's working his way into the area, has a shot. There's no power on it, and it falls into the grateful hands of Steve Drench. But, well, it was Jamie Ellison actually with that shot. But again, Colwyn Bay creating another good opportunity for themselves. You are listening to Guiseley Radio. 15 minutes gone, 0-0 between Guiseley and Colwyn Bay. Another crucial game for the Lions. Danny Hall on the ball to Maynell. Again, just taking his time. Finds Gavin Rothery. Again, just working the way into the Colwyn Bay half and then passing the ball back to defence. Hence goes back to the Guiseley half. Forrest to Lawler. To Rothery, who's centre on the halfway line, and Rothery shanks a pass which was going to go to the other wing to Andy Holdsworth. Instead, it looks like it may have just landed onto the cricket field, which is next to Nethermoor Park, so a bit of distance on that pass.
Yeah, it was a proper shank, wasn't it? First day of the cricket season, and Gav's gone for 6.
Danny Ellis on the ball now to Steve Drench. Drench takes his time, finds Danny Hall getting the ball out of the Guiseley penalty area, and now Hall will be trying to get the ball out of the Guiseley half, and he's made a good run getting the ball about 20 yards up the field, but then he attempts a pass onto the wing, can't find Adam Boyes, goes out for a throw, and Danny Taylor, Colwyn Bay's right back, trying to take a throw about 15 yards further forward than he should be doing, and the referee quite rightly just having a word with him.
One of the hallmarks of 21st century football, that, isn't it?
The throw-in was taken, and Colwyn Bay looked like they were going to keep possession, but Danny Ellis with a big header getting the ball out of Guiseley's half and into Colwyn Bay's half, and it's fallen to Wayne Brooksby, who's trying to cut his way in. He was about 20 yards out, had a shot, takes a deflection, and the ball lands safely to Anthony Stevens, Colwyn Bay's left back, who's going to be able to clear it, and he's going to get past the halfway line. On the wing, he cuts inside and finds Hopley. Again, Colwyn Bay, they're about 35 yards out. They're trying to edge the ball ever so nearer to Steve Drencher's goal. Sean Williams crosses the ball in. Danny Hall with a good header gets it out of the penalty area. Now Colwyn Bay get the ball back about 35 yards out. It's Danny Taylor on the right wing. He's tackled. And Adam Boys has got the ball now. He could have fed through to Danny Forrest. Instead, he holds up play and finds Danny Boschel, who's more than willing to run forward. Finds Wayne Brooksby on the wing. Boschel and Brooksby now passing the ball between themselves to Holdsworth. Lawler. Rovery to Boys, who's in the area. Crosses the ball in. It was a low cross. And then it just goes across the edge of goal. And it's Danny Taylor who's able to clear it. A dangerous moment there. Danny Forrest looked like he might just have been able to get something on it. Instead, Danny Taylor clears. But good play there by Guiseley.
It was. I still find it extraordinary that some Guiseley fans will moan at the way Danny Boschel passes. It absolutely does my head in, because our season changed the day that Danny Boschel signed back. The first game he played was the first game we'd won in absolutely weeks, and we've been good ever since. And he was involved in that move, and that was Guiseley's best move of the game. And people are still whinging that he's passing it sideways and all of this. I think people just need to chill out and realise we're twice the team when he plays. Anyway, in other news, Telford are 1-0 down against Gloucester City, so that's a bit of a bit of an unexpected start there. Of course, Gloucester we host here next Saturday.
Wayne Brooksby on the ball now, about 30 yards out, finds Danny Forrest on the wing. He was looking to try and find Rhys Maynell by the looks of it. In the end, the ball does fall to Maynell on the wing, crosses it into the area. Keeper does well, centre of the goal, and saves it and distributes quickly. Ball now with Colwyn Bay. They're just working their way into the Guiseley half, and they're getting quite a bit of distance on that. Now the ball's about 30 yards out, a throw in to Colwyn Bay. And, Colwyn Bay, they're getting some men forward as well. They look like, it's been one of them games, hasn't it? Both sides creating chances, getting men forward. A good game of football.
Yeah, it has been so far. I just hope it doesn't go for too long without a goal, because then it can risk kind of fizzling out into a non-event. But at the moment, it's a good game to watch.
Well, Danny Taylor with the throw in, plenty on it. And it goes out for a corner to Colwyn Bay. And it was Jake Lawler who decided he had to head the ball out, because better to be safe than sorry, because with so many Colwyn Bay players in the area, it's just good to get it out of play. This corner is going to be taken now by Williams. It's whipped in, aiming for the near post. Boschel's able to keep it in play. And now there's a chance for Adam Boys to run onto something. And, Adam Boys nearly getting onto the ball there. He's just had a coming together with Danny Taylor just inside the Colwyn Bay half. The ball was cleared by Boschel, trying to find Boys, and Taylor and Boys just having a coming together there. No harm done, and both players are back up, and it's going to be a throw-in to the lines to Guiseley. Steve Drench gets the ball back now from an Andy Holdsworth frame, and he's just working his way out of his area, clears the ball, trying to find Adam Boys, who's just inside the Colwyn Bay half. Holdsworth on the wing, they're just holding the ball, Guiseley. There's no real urgency at the moment. It's 0-0. Here you are listening to Guiseley Radio. 20 minutes gone, and if you did miss it, Telford are losing currently to Gloucester, which would be a massive shock and a massive bonus for North Ferriby United. And Guiseley, they looked like they were going to give the ball away then. Instead, it's a free kick which is given away, and it's Andy Holdsworth who just lost possession, stuck a leg out, and Colwyn Bay with a free kick now, about 40 yards out, just to the left side, and Sean Williams looks like he'll be taking it. This is a dangerous chance for Colwyn.
Absolutely, they were threatening to take it quickly for a moment there, while Guiseley were struggling to get back and lined up. But instead, they've taken the opportunity to set themselves for a delivery into the box.
Sean Williams crosses the ball in. Danny Hall does really well, gets the ball out of the area, but Colwyn Bay looked like they were going to get the possession back. Instead, Wayne Brooksby went for the ball on the halfway line, and he's just been literally kicked in the face by Danny Taylor, a high boot, and Brooksby holding onto his face, And, well, this free kick's going to be taken momentarily while Brooksby receives a bit of treatment. Well, Nick's going to be talking about that. The next voice you'll be hearing after that will be Colin Robertson.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised if the referee chooses not to take any further action there. I think supposed to be a nasty challenge, but it was potentially an ugly one. And Wayne's been through the wars a little bit this week and currently down, having his face seen to by Martin Stringfellow.
Yeah, that doesn't look good at all, does he? He's being attended to. 22 minutes gone, still goalless here between the Lions and Colwyn Bay. Wayne Brooksby just on the ground after that challenge there from Danny Taylor.
It can depend on the type of boots that the player's wearing with a collision like that. Some of the blade boots are not the sort of thing you want in your face, I don't think.
I don't think any boot you want in your face, really, to be fair.
I think the blunt force trauma of a good solid stud isn't too bad.
Nick's hard childhood about to come to the fore. You're not missing anything at the moment. And Brooksby, unfortunately, is down on the ground and receiving some sort of treatment. I suspect he's maybe got a cut here, and what we're trying to do is resolve that before he has to spend any time off the field. Of course, just made his way into the game, didn't he, on this afternoon? We suspected he might struggle to be fit after sustaining an injury against Harrogate Town. Frustrating injury as well, wasn't he? He stood on just as he was trying to take a free kick as well on Tuesday night.
Yeah, and it would be a bit of an adding sort of facial insult to ankle injury situation. He's not had a brilliant week, hasn't Wayne, and it'd be a shame if, having gone through the hassle of getting himself and doing all the icing and getting himself fit for today, if he can't actually see the game out.
So, a couple of scorelines coming in around the Skrill North. Of course, Gloucester City are leading against Telford. North Ferriby are now winning 1-0. They're playing Harrogate Town. So North Ferriby are looking like they're going to have a good afternoon, potentially. Halifax Town, by the way, are 2-0 up against Macclesfield. That's a remarkable turn of fortune for Halifax. Histon in real trouble at the bottom end, trailing by 1-0 against Solihull Moors. And if we get any other scorelines, we'll try and bring them through to you.
Well, just coming in the last minute, North Ferriby have gone 1-0 up at home to Harrogate Town. Looking like a good afternoon for them at the moment. If scores were to stay as they were, Ferriby were to get the win and Telford were to lose unexpectedly, that would change the shape of that top couple of places. I don't know about you, Colin. I'd rather have North Ferriby in the playoffs.
Guys, they start with a free kick. Long one from Drench, headed across by Danny Ellis. Aimed for the head of Jake Lawler, headed away by Colwyn Bay, who forced the ball all the way back up to Stephen Drench in the Guiseley goal, who comfortably takes it in his hands and rolls it out. And prepares to launch this one long, but a good move there from the Lions. Drench, long one forward, up towards Adam Boys. A nudge in the back there, potentially from Jonathan Royal, nothing given. Cleared up to the centre circle. Danny Hall goes battling for it. The ball with Rhys Maynell now in left-back position. Down the channel, looking for Adam Boys up front. Headed away. Second ball picked up now by Jake Lawler. Wayne Brooksby about to come back onto the field. Bit of trickery from Gavin Rothery. Almost to take the ball away from the Colwyn man. Beaten to it. And now Colwyn Bay come back here with Gareth Evans down the right-hand side. Evans up against Rhys Maynell, gets the cross into the area, cut out by Danny Hall. Out for a throw for Colwyn Bay, about level with the 18-yard box. And I think, are we going to have a change, or is that Wayne coming back on?
No, he wouldn't let Wayne back on all the way throughout that move, and it was causing a bit of consternation down on the bench down there. I think Mark Bauer's just talking to him now. I suspect the referee wanted to check if there was a cut, if there was some blood. I suspect he wanted to check personally that Wayne was all patched up before waving him back onto the pitch. That's why he's gone over to see him now. In fact, there's quite an animated conversation going on there. It looks like they're maybe suggesting his shirt wasn't quite clean or something like that. And it's just holding the game up a little bit.
Well, Wayne Brooksby and the referee just having a little tug at each other there. Glenn Hart. I don't know, he's not letting him back on. He's not letting him back on just at the moment. He's going to wait till get the game underway to decide whether he's going to allow him back on. Anyway, the throw-in comes in now from Colwyn. It's another long one. Headed away well by Jake Lawler. Up towards Adam Boys. Boys is beaten to it by Evans. And then it goes all the way back to the goalkeeper.
Well, Wayne's back on the pitch now. It looks like he's in the game. The referee hasn't waved him back on. It was all a bit strange. That I assume there was a good reason why he didn't just wave the player back on after treatment like you would normally see.
Well, something obviously went on with that discussion. But Wayne Brooksby is back on the field, now wearing a number 17 shirt by my eyes. In the meantime, Guiseley are having to defend because it's been Colwyn Bay's ball for a couple of minutes here. Rob Hopley plays it to the centre, in field, towards Jamie Ellison. Defended well by Danny Ellis. Ellis helps it up to the halfway line. Boys goes looking for it again. Wins the header this time. Gives it to Danny Forrest, just over the halfway line. Lays it square to Danny Boschel. Elaborate little flick from Boschel to Danny Ellis. And then out to Andy Holdsworth. Holdsworth plays a long one down the right channel. Good take from Gavin Rothery. Gets it into the area, but no one in the part of the goal area that Rothery was playing it into, and it's picked up by Chris Sanner.
And the game's just sort of gone to sleep a little bit in the last 5 minutes with the interruption that we had, and maybe the sunny weather, but it's a little bit quiet around the ground, and the intensity's just dropped a little bit. And guys need to get themselves going again, because as it stands, they've not made an awful lot of decent chances. Certainly not tested the goalkeeper yet.
Another goal in the Skrill North. North Ferriby 1, Harrogate Town 1. Changing the dimensions every moment, and it looks like Telford United have got a penalty as well. So big moment there. Still scoreless here. We're back underway. The throw-in taken, headed away by Danny Ellis, and goes all the way back to Stephen Drench. Drench with a long clearance upfield towards Danny Forrest. Forrest takes it down well on the chest, turns on the ball, back on the halfway line. Boschel under pressure, plays it into Jake Lawler, now back to Danny Hall. Hall sends it long. He was pressed hard by the Colwyn Bay man, and in the end rather hurried his clearance, and it's out for a throw into Colwyn Bay.
Yeah, he's having a bit of a wry chuckle with himself, is Danny. I think he knows that wasn't quite what he was going for.
That penalty has been converted, so Telford United and North Ferriby are now both drawing 1-1 in their respective games. Throw-in taken from the right-back position for Colwyn Bay. Danny Taylor, who put the boot into Wayne Brooksby's face a few moments ago. Plays the ball down the channel, but Guiseley defend well and get the ball back to Stephen Drench. Drench has time to roll the ball out of his area. Plays it up towards Brooksby. Brooksby's under pressure from Anthony Stevens. Stevens, who struck that free kick so sweetly in the first few moments that Stephen Drench watched so carefully and got a firm hand on. He's now conceded the free kick right over on the right-hand side here. It's about midway through the Colwyn half. Just a few yards up from the right touchline. Guiseley have 4 of 5 players hanging around the edge of the D, including Jake Lawler, Hall and Ellis. And boys, the big men are up there. The ball distributed by Brooksby, headed away by Tom Smythe for Colwyn Bay. All the way back to Andy Holdsworth on the halfway line. Holdsworth sends it long with players still hanging around the edge of the area. Chris Sanner, the Colwyn Bay goalkeeper, has time to watch that one come down and collect comfortably under no pressure. Rolls it out to the right back position. And then it's played in field. Jake Lawler hustling and harrying Jamie Crowther. Colwyn Bay number 6, who forces the ball back to the goalkeeper. Who then sends it long. Ellis battling with Hopley, but there's a good ball forward from Colwyn Bay. Well shepherded back to the goalkeeper, though, by Danny Hall. And the danger passes. Half an hour gone. Guiseley and Colwyn Bay locked at 0-0. Best chances, it has to be said, have fallen to the visitors. But Gavin Rothery might put that right now. He's got the ball on the right-hand side, running into the penalty area, plays it across the 6-yard box, helped away by the Colwyn Bay defence. Rhys Maynell picks it up on the centre circle. Back here with Hall. Hall over the halfway line. Maynell now a few yards into the Colwyn Bay half, plays a long ball forward. Takes a nice deflection, finds Adam Boys on the edge of the D. Boys with his back to goal, plays it out wide here to Rothery. Rothery into the penalty area, can't get it under control. Good defending from Cameron Darkwa. Gets the ball away, only as far as Danny Ellis. Guiseley have got Colwyn Bay encamped in their own half just for a moment or two here. Maynell skips it forward up towards Adam Boys. Flicked on by Boys. Headed away, and now it's with Darkwa, who sends it long upfield into the Guiseley half. Easy for Stephen Drench to collect this one and return it back into Colwyn Bay's half. A little bit of head tennis and the ball goes forward. Ends up with Danny Ellis heading back into the Colwyn Bay half up towards Adam Boys. Defended well though again by the visitors. And Danny Taylor steps over and sends the ball back to the goalkeeper. He's got a bit of a task to get a good connection on it. And the ball in the halfway line. Danny Forrest battling away trying to win it back, but Colwyn Bay recover possession. Blocked well by Danny Boschel. But at the second attempt, Jonathan Royal, the Colwyn Bay centre-half, gets a clearance in. Now Guiseley having to defend. It's picked up now here by Jamie Ellison. And it's into the feet of a Colwyn Bay midfielder who takes a shot. It was Sean Williams. Takes a deflection off Jake Lawler and it's gone behind for a corner.
Yeah, and guys, they've got to set up to defend again after some decent possession. They've got to get back into their own area. Everybody apart from Adam Boys back. And, try and repel another corner. Just before it comes in, Telford have equalised again in the last few minutes against Gloucester City, so it's 1-1 there.
Corner from the right-hand side here as Colwyn Bay attack the Guiseley goal. There's players on the edge of the area. It goes in towards the edge of the 6-yard box where Cameron Darkwa was waiting to collect. It's defended well by Danny Boschel, sent behind for another corner though on the same side. Another ball brought onto field. 33 minutes gone, still 0-0 if you're just joining us on Guiseley AFC Radio between Colwyn Bay and Guiseley here at Nethermoor. The corner to be taken now. Whipped in towards the other 6-yard box, headed away by Danny Boschel. Gavin Rothery gives chase. Can't get it and keep it in. And it's another throw-in for the visitors, about level with the edge of the 18-yard box this time, on the right flank. And it's going to be another one of these long throws that have been threatening every time Colwyn Bay have had them. They're lining up players on the edge of the 6-yard box to get on the end of it. It goes into that direction. Good header from Danny Hall. Takes a deflection though. Bounces awkwardly in the 6-yard box, eventually helped away. So throw in now for Colwyn Bay, just up from the corner flag on that right-hand side, about a yard and a half up from the corner flag. So another long throw into the penalty area. 4 or 5 red shirts on the edge of the 6-yard box waiting to receive. Ball goes up again, bounces in the 6-yard box, nobody on the end of it. Eventually Guiseley help it away. Danny Boschel up to the centre circle. Adam Boys can't control the difficult ball that was played up to him. Colwyn Bay return it back into Guiseley's territory. Guiseley defend it this time. Danny Forrest sends it up the channel, but there's nobody there, and it's picked up again by Danny Taylor. Infield here to Williams. Cut out by Hall. Taken down really well by Boys. Boys plays it into Wayne Brooksby, but he was closed down by Gareth Evans. Now the North Wales side get the ball down that left flank, looking to break down the Guiseley defence once again, but Ellis holds firm. Guiseley now under pressure, but can come away with this ball. A lovely ball played over here for Adam Boys. Just gets clear of the back two, but going out to the left-hand side. Cuts in field here. Gives it back to Gavin Rothery on the edge of the area. Plays it back here to Danny Forrest. Forrest curls one in towards the back post, but it doesn't have the direction, and it goes behind for a goal kick.
Well, nice smart move by Guiseley. I think Danny was aiming for the top corner there rather than going for the cross, but maybe that moment of indecision left him slightly betwixt and between those two possible deliveries. So with it being 1-0 now, 1-1 in the Harrogate and North Ferriby United game as well. It's very much as you were at the top of the table. And of course, we're just interested in what's happening around 5th position, and at the moment, we're not winning this game yet.
Yeah, it's a lot of questions to answer yet. Guiseley battling for it in midfield at the moment. This tough contest. Jake Lawler wins the header, gives it in here to Gavin Rothery. Rothery plays it to Wayne Brooksby, then gets the ball back off him. Rash challenge comes in there from Tom Smythe, but Guiseley don't get anything, didn't make any connection. And then Guiseley defend a long one forward. Danny Ellis, rock at the back as ever. Plays the ball with his head, now finds Danny Boschel. Boschel on the halfway line, being closed down as Colwyn Bay still playing an energetic game of closing down. And a poor ball forward even. By Guiseley gives the possession back to Colwyn Bay in their own left-back position. Stevens, long. finds Hopley. Hopley takes it down. Turns in the left channel, but Guiseley can shepherd that one away, and then Wayne Brooksby heads it out into touch on the halfway line for a Colwyn Bay throw-in. Still 0-0 with 37 minutes gone. The best chances have fallen to the visitors. A wonderful save from Stephen Drench that denied Hopley. Absolutely top draw save. I don't think you'll see many better than that from point blank range. And they had a good free kick that was well saved by Drench too. Now Guiseley have the ball from the goalkeeper. Danny Hall's inside his own half. He's waiting to play it long. Just taking his time. Colwyn Bay just holding a good shape. In the end, he just goes short to Rhys Maynell and gets it back. And Guiseley just knocking the ball around. A few home fans urging the team to go forward. Played forward now by Danny Ellis, looking to get Adam Boyes away. Killer ball doesn't work that time. Defended well. And now a chance here for Colwyn Bay to counter-attack. Hopley goes down under the challenge from Danny Hall. We're only about 5-10 yards into the Guiseley half. But it's a free kick to Colwyn Bay. No doubt they'll throw the big men forward for this.
Yeah, you would think so. It's just a good enough distance that with the right curling delivery, there might be an opportunity for someone to get a good attacking header on goal.
Nervous moments here for the Lions. It's Sean Williams who stands over the free kick. Takes it, sends it long up towards the penalty spot. Stephen Drench has to watch it because it caught in the wind and curled.
Yeah, sorry, Colin, not what you wanted at all there, really. It sort of went straight and then moved, faded away to the right with the breeze, as you say. Never threatened to get on the head of a Colwyn Bay player.
Adam Boyes can't collect that ball. Stephen Drench has to be swiftly off his line because Colwyn Bay sent it forward. Didn't look like Rob Hopley was going to get much on it, but the ball went into the penalty area. Stephen Drench had to come out at his feet. Unconventional challenge. Out for a throw, and then Bay get the ball back into the area, but this time over everyone. And it's going to be a throw-in. A couple of yards up from the corner flag to Guiseley in their own left-back position. I don't know about you, Nick. It's quite nerve-wracking this at the moment this afternoon. It's very tetchy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Guiseley haven't had, as you say, the best of the chances. They've not been bad in possession, but...
Colwyn Bay come forward now. Good ball into the feet of Darkwa. He's on the edge of the area. Gets a shot away with the left foot. It's comfortable for Stephen Drench. Drench plays it out immediately into the feet of Danny Forrest. Is he looking to get down into the other end of the field? Sent over by Jake Lawler. Forrest goes running. He's got plenty of yards he's got to make up. This time he wasn't going to beat Jonathan Royal to it. Royal sends it back into the Colwyn Bay half. And eventually a bit of a late challenge there from Hopley on Maynell. Ends up with a Guiseley free kick.
I think what Colwyn Bay are doing at the moment that's making it quite difficult for Guiseley is, as they're playing a standard 4-4-2, you'd expect Guiseley to have the extra man in midfield, but they're very compact. Their defence and midfield are very close together. So Gavin Rothery is trying to play in between the lines, but he's got absolutely no space in between the defence and midfield of Colwyn Bay to work in. So he's dropping deeper. That's leaving Adam Boyes a little bit exposed and isolated up front by himself.
Free kicks taken by Drench, but Colwyn Bay aren't to be broken down this afternoon. The ball's immediately taken away. Jamie Ellison and Sean Williams just comfortably clearing, sending it all the way back to Steve Drench. Another score flash. I don't know if you want to just read that one out, Nick.
What's this then? Harrogate have gone 2-1 up at North Ferriby United. Now that's not one I expected.
It's changing things around again.
Well, that would put Altrincham in the Altrincham. Haven't mentioned them yet today. That would put Telford in the driving seat for the title, wouldn't it, after today?
Ball goes forward now for Guiseley. Rhys Maynell tries to get across. Can't make the connection on it. And it's gone behind for a goal kick. 5 minutes to go till the break. The Lions and Colwyn Bay 0-0. It's not a thriller, it's tense. No real opening chances for Guiseley this half. I can't think of a golden opportunity we've really made. I can think of two really good opportunities for Colwyn Bay.
But as Colwyn Bay have lined up from that goal kick, there's less than 10 yards between their defensive four and their midfield four, playing as two flat lines. It's very, very difficult to get any space in there.
Guiseley get the ball, send it out towards Danny Forrest. He's had a bit of a job on to try and keep that one in play. Colwyn Bay recover, and it's a throw-in for the visitors. Inside their own half, they lay it forward. Headed on by Forrest. taken down by Gavin Rothery, cleared by Danny Taylor. Taylor sends it up towards Andy Holdsworth, who heads down well. And Guiseley can come away with the ball now. Wayne Brooksby running across field, gets the ball to Forrest, keeps his run going. Good ball from Forrest, picks out Brooksby down the left-hand side. Brooksby gets the ball into the area up towards Gavin Rothery, but Colwyn Bay were alive to the danger. And Smythe came across, got a good foot through it, but a very smart move from Guiseley.
Yeah, good work by Wayne Brooksby, running across the pitch, losing his marker, finding himself over on the opposite side. It might take a little bit of ingenuity or a little kind of moment of inspiration like that to just unlock this game.
Guiseley with the throw, level with the penalty area on the left-hand side. Take it short in towards Danny Forrest. They've 2 players on them. Reece Maynell earns another throw in for the Lions. This time a few yards ahead. And Guiseley complain that the ball never went out, and there's a big shout. And the referee has given the throw in, even though the linesman didn't.
Well, that's an extraordinary decision, really, isn't it? With Reece Maynell running into the area with the ball at his feet to pull it back and give Guiseley a throw in that the linesman never gave because the ball didn't cross the line. That's really frustrating.
Astounding, really. And the throw, wouldn't you know, it's taken poorly and goes out for a goal kick. It's going to be one of those afternoons by the feeling of it.
Just a bit of a moment of madness by the referee, really. Just very frustrating. I could have understood if it was a Colwyn throw, if he felt that it was definitely out, why you would have wanted to stop it in that moment. But guys are getting into the area with the ball at their feet. It hasn't happened very often in the game so far, and they would have certainly rather played on than be pulled back for a nothing sort of throw in.
0-0. Vauxhall Motors are a goal to the good against Workington. Workington, of course, where we go for a very long bank holiday trip. Oh, and the ball is now in the press area.
Amazing.
A headed clearance, and the ball finds its all the way to Tom Feeney.
That's the first time that's happened. We've been worrying about this all season. It's why we Velcro all our equipment to the bench here. And, of course, Tom's laptop is the first one to have been hit with a football.
Now Colwyn Bay come forward down the left-hand side. Darkwa, good work from him. Lays it back here to Stevens. Stevens gets the ball forward. It takes deflection. Danny Ellis prevents it going behind for a corner. Good work again from Guiseley defensively. Ellis sends it long, up high in the air. Adam Boyd's got an awful lot to do to win that header. I think he does, but he couldn't make any direction he wanted to. It's picked up now by Guiseley inside their own half. Reece Maynell plays it forward. Jake Lawler nods on, gives the ball to Danny Forrest. Forrest has a bit of a run, feels he's been pulled back, complains to the referee, and it's going to be a yellow card for a Colwyn Bay man, and I think it's Jamie Crowther who goes into the book. I think that's the first booking of the afternoon.
Yeah, no, it had to be given, that one, really. Danny running across diagonally across left to right and forward at the same time with the ball at his feet at pace. Dangerous situation. He's just had his shirt pulled and brought down. It's one of those slightly cynical take one for the team sort of fouls to give away, and gives Wayne the opportunity to I don't know if he's going to shoot from here. He's a long way out. He's lining up like he fancies shooting. It's
just about 10 yards from the edge of the centre circle. It's very central in the middle of the Colwyn Bay half. Brooksby stands over it, distributes it up to the edge of the 6-yard box, bounces up high in the air, nobody can get on the end of it, up to the edge of the 18-yard box, picked up by Rothery, sends it to Danny Ellis, who's a left midfielder for a moment, then Boschel turns the ball into the area, headed away from Jake Lawler, and as we go across the 45 mark, we're into whatever the referee adds on. Colwyn Bay defending inside their own half in possession, send it long, good work from Reece Maynell to win the first ball. But as it's returned to him, he's surrounded by 3 Colwyn Bay players and has to work it back to Stephen Drench. Drench plays it long, up towards Boys. Boys doesn't win that header again. And it's now knocked on to Hopley for Colwyn Bay inside the Guiseley half. Bay ending this half with players forward. Good tackle from Andy Holdsworth, though, on Anthony Stevens. Throw in for Colwyn Bay, about level with the centre circle. On the left-hand side as they attack the Guiseley goal. Defended well by Andy Holdsworth this time from the throw. And Colwyn Bay still recover possession. Jamie Crowther with a good touch, the man who was booked a couple of minutes ago. Plays it long down the channel to no avail because Danny Ellis gets a good header away on it. Guys who can have perhaps one last counter-attack of this half now. Gavin Rothery over the halfway line. Reece Maynell on the overlapping left-hand side if he can find him. He does. He plays it out to Maynell. Maynell gets the ball in towards the cross-in, but it's blocked and it's out for a throw-in. And I think that will be the last action of the half because the referee's looking at his watch. But it plays on for a moment. Gavin Rothery gets it from the throw. Back here to Jake Lawler. Aimless pass forward from Lawler. And now Colwyn Bay can counter-attack. They have it with Danny Taylor. Sends a good long one up here. Taken down really well by Crowther. And then Crowther attempts an audacious lob from quite some distance. Just 4 or 5 yards in from the centre circle. Never on target. Always going wide.
Well, Mark's got a little bit of work to do at half-time, I think, hasn't he? He's got to maybe get the intensity levels up a little bit, or maybe adjust the shape of the team as they go forward. They've got to try something different in the second half. It's not quite worked. Haven't moved it often with enough pace and enough accuracy in the passing to cause huge amounts of problems for the Colwyn Bay defence, and Colwyn Bay have looked fairly happy to sit in very compact in their 2 rows of 4, take the chances when they get them, and they've looked dangerous when they've made those chances themselves.
Well, you probably heard there the whistle has gone, and at half time Colwyn Bay and Guiseley go in 0-0 at the break, and this will be a tough for 15 minutes of team talking that Mark Bauer has to do for the Lions as they look to come out for the second half with renewed vigour and hopefully getting the 3 points. We'll be back for the second half commentary in about 10 minutes, but at the break and in the meantime we will give you all the half-time scores and all the views from Tom Feeney as he takes us through.
Well, yeah, thank you, Colin. And so at half-time it is Guiseley 0, Colwyn Bay 0, and in a position, Guiseley, where the best fell to the away side, fell to the Welsh side. Colwyn Bay, who on another day they would have scored. Rob Hopley with an effort from 6 yards out, powerful shot. Steve Drench with a marvellous save, a real moment of quality there by the keeper. And Guiseley, well, are in a position where it's 0-0. It's not the end of the world. Mark Bauer at half-time will have plenty to say and try and get a reaction from his lads and try and get the result, which for Guiseley would be a marvellous achievement. Anyway, the half-time scores, I'm going to go through all the half-time scores now throughout all the divisions in England, and in the Barclays Premier League there was one full-time result to talk about. Tottenham 3, Fulham 1, and the result means Tottenham look like they are bound to getting the Europa League spot, which so many teams seem to not really want. But anyway, they're in a position where they might be getting that now. As for Fulham, they are now in a position where they're still in the relegation zone, and they've only got 3 games to rectify that. Paulinho, Harry Kane and Yunus Kabul with the goals for Tottenham. It was Steve Sidwell who had equalised for the away side. A 3-1 there. Win there for Tottenham. Half-time scores now. Aston Villa 0, Southampton 0, Cardiff 0, Stoke 1, Newcastle 1, Swansea 1, and West Ham United 0, Crystal Palace 0. Some scores then in the Championship, and of course a lot of games in the Championship were played yesterday on Good Friday, so only 5 games are actually being played over today's day. And a full-time result, Leicester 1, QPR 0, and then the rest are half-times. It's Barnsley 0, Leeds United 1, Middlesbrough 0, Millwall 2. What a massive result that would be for Millwall. It would drag them out of the relegation places in a result they really wouldn't have expected. It's Nottingham Forest 1, Birmingham 0, and it's Watford 1, Ipswich 0. Again, not many games in League 2, it's actually only 2. It's Burton 1, Hartlepool 0, and it's Portsmouth 2, Bristol Rovers 2. Now let's get to where it really matters. We're going to start with the Skrill Conference Premier. Chester 0, Wrexham 0, a full-time result there. And, well, a result in which Chester, it's not a terrible result for Chester, but they are really on the edge now. They are just above the relegation places. Of course, Guiseley lost out to Chester last year. And interestingly, again, Craig Hobson was on the bench for Chester. Of course, the next line who joined them only a few weeks ago. Another full-time result, Welling 1, Luton 2. Of course, Luton guaranteed promotion. They gained automatic promotion, finishing first in the league, and a party there in Welling with a 2-1 win. Other half-time scores then in the Squirrel Conference Premier. It's Halifax 2, Macclesfield 1, Forest Green 1, Woking 0, and Nuneaton 0, Barnet 0. And of course, when you look at Halifax, the position they were in last year, very similar to Guiseley's this year. They had a lot of games in hand, they won them, they got into the playoffs, they had the momentum. They then won here at Nethermoor in the second leg, which got them through to that final, and then they were able to beat Brackley Town 1-0. And you know, something that Guiseley will be able to take heart from is the position that they found themselves in compared to Halifax's last year. A lot of similarities, and you never know, it might be a case that Mark Bauer uses that position just as a little bit of inspiration for the Lions. Anyway, now let's get to the division that matters, the Squirrel Conference North. And at half-time, it is Telford 1, Gloucester City 1. Telford fell behind early on to Gloucester City. Of course, a result which really would have been a shock if Gloucester were able to keep that going. But a penalty for Telford in the 30th minute, Farrell with the goal, and you've got to believe now they will push on. They know how important getting a win today would be for them. If you look at the Squirrel North table, they are in a position where really it's only them and North Ferriby that you'd say really going to be fighting for automatic promotion. But I think it'd be harsh to rule out Altrincham when you look at the striking ability that they have and the striking talent they have. So at the moment, Telford are top of the league, but only a point behind North Ferriby, so they know how important it'll be not to slip up. Only a few other half-time scores have come through. I will find out the other scores, but this is a massive half-time score. It's North Ferriby United 1, it's Harrogate Town 2, and of course, if Telford were to win and North Ferriby were to lose, then Telford, they would be seen as clear favourites of getting that automatic place. Ferriby, well, it's an interesting one this, because they took the lead, a Jarman penalty, but then a couple of minutes later Harrogate drew level with Worsford, and just before half time Brown was able to put Harrogate Town in front. And Harrogate Town, it's interesting when you look at the position they're in, because they've not won many games over the last few weeks. Went on 7 games where they didn't win. They got a lot of draws, and that really got rid of their chance of getting into the playoffs. But against Guiseley in the second half, they played really well on Tuesday night. Were unlucky not to get a goal. You never know, they might have been able to have got a few if they'd have got one. And it looks like they're playing with a bit more freedom. They know now that really, again, like so many teams where you've not got that pressure, you can just play with a bit of freedom, express yourself a little better, and be in a position where you impress the manager for next season. Couple more half-time scores. It's Stalybridge Celtic 1, it's Gainsborough Trinity 1, and it's Vauxhall Motors 1, Workington 1. And Guiseley will be travelling to Workington on Monday it's a 3 p.m. kickoff. Of course, we will be bringing you commentary of that game, a crucial game at both ends of the table next week. Well, on Monday even. It's only 2 days away, of course. This Easter period, you get a lot of football in a short space of time. Actually, when you look at Workington and the position they're in, they are 7 points off with only 3 games to go. So really, they need to win. They need to beat Vauxhall Motors today to have any chance of staying up. And of course, at Vauxhall Motors, such a sad scenario with them, they will be out of the Squirrel North, whatever happens at the end of the season, due to financial reasons, though they will really be missed from Squirrel North. A lovely ground, nice fans. There'll be a miss for our league. Well, looking at the match itself then today, it's currently Guiseley 0, Colwyn Bay 0, and an edgy performance so far by Guiseley, by the Lions. Not particularly created too much of note. And it's Colwyn Bay who really should be ahead. Rob Hopley with a fantastic effort, 6 yards out. Steve Drench, all the credit in the world for that save. A fantastic save, reaction stop, getting the ball over the bar and out of play on 99 times out of 100. That goes into the back of the net. But Steve Drench deserves all the credit for a marvellous save. Well, looking at the bench, 4 guys in that position, you're looking at it now, it's 0-0. Will changes be made? Will Mark Bauer think, you know what, it's time to get 1 or 2 players on? Michael Potts, Ben Parker, Ryan Williams, Ollie Johnson and subkeeper Stephen Dickinson even, what am I on about? And it's Ollie Johnson where I certainly think he'd be able to make a difference. But you look at Ryan Williams, he's someone who has had a lone spell at goal. He impressed me, certainly, in the West Riding County Cup. He played a couple of games, and he just had that youthful enthusiasm that, players of his age have. When he gets on the ball, he likes to burst forward. He likes to try and make something. And it might be a case when you look at Colwyn Bay's defence, they've got 8 players that are playing as more a defensive role. So you've got the 4 defenders, and then you've got 4 midfielders who are more than happy to sit back just inside their own half and make life really hard for Guiseley. So maybe that little bit of pace, that little bit of forceful energy that Williams will be able to bring might be the difference. He might be able to come on. Michael Potts and Ben Parker, of course, Ben Parker returning from injury, and he'll be ready for the playoffs if Guiseley are able to get there. And what a time to talk about Michael Potts, because he's just scored a brilliant goal in the warm-up he's having, and Ben Parker has just hugged him. It was a fantastic goal on the half volley just outside the area, and if he could do that during the actual game against Colwyn Bay, that really would be a sight for sore eyes. A fantastic goal there, a fantastic strike there by Michael Potts. I'm just trying to get a few more scores in the Skrill North. Of course, a full listing of fixtures for today. Unlike so many leagues where it has been a case that most games were played on Good Friday, and today just seems to be 1 or 2 more scores. Anyway, a score has come in, and it's Barrow 0, Bradford Park Avenue 1, of 2 sides where both safe from relegation, both not gunning for the playoffs now. But again, it's all about trying to get a bit of momentum, and just how important it is to go into the season off the back of a good finish. Got to look at Colwyn Bay last season. They stayed up, just about stayed up as well. They went on a fantastic run, and they've been able to continue that run into the season, made a good start. And it really was a case with Colwyn Bay. They were able to take advantage of that good start and be in a position where they continued. They're 10th now. You know what, I think their fans will have taken that at the start of the season. They've certainly taken it when Frank Sinclair took over. His first game in charge, remember, was against the Lions, against Guiseley last season in a 2-2 draw in which Frank Sinclair played quite an inspirational part. He made a big show of his players, had a big chat with them on the pitch at half-time, and then they really started playing well during that second half. And Frank Sinclair, a manager who was tipped for a job maybe in a higher league. He was tipped with the Wrexham job at one point. Didn't get it in the end. He didn't want it. He said he wanted to stay at Colwyn Bay and continue the good work he's been doing. But Frank Sinclair deserves a lot of credit for what he's done with Colwyn Bay. And speaking of Colwyn Bay, their players are out on the pitch, ready to go for the second half. And they're going to be joined now with the Guiseley players who just making their way onto the pitch. And now Danny Ellis, 400th appearance for the club. What an achievement that is for Danny Ellis. Someone who really has been, whenever he's played, he's been inspirational, scoring goals, defending well. He has been a player who's just really made Guiseley tick, and he's been given that nickname, Mr. Guiseley, a nickname which he doesn't talk about too often, but he does like the nickname. And he really is, when you look at the work he does at youth level at Guiseley as well, he really does love this club. And I've got to say, I think it's safe to say the Guiseley fans love him too. Well, anyway, the full set of 11 players each are on the pitch now. Steve Drench will be the last player making his way out of the tunnel, and he'll be running right down the ground to where his goal is, getting ready for this second half. And it will be Guiseley who will kick off. It's Danny Boschel and Wayne Brooksby who will be kicking off. with Adam Boys and Danny Forrest either side of the semicircle. And Guiseley getting ready then for kick-off this second half at the moment. You are listening to Guiseley Radio. I'm Tom Phoenix, currently 0-0 between Guiseley and Colwyn Bay. And Guiseley getting ready for kick-off now for this second half. Danny Boschel and Wayne Brooksby just having a chat amongst themselves. The referee is taking his time. The kick-off starts. Wayne Brooksby immediately bursts into the Colwyn Bay half and is tackled immediately by Sean Williams, who... Well, then Colwyn Bay trying to get the ball forward, and they've made a bit of a mess of it. Ball goes out for a frame just inside Guiseley's half on the right. It's Andy Holdsworth who'll be able to take it. Takes a few steps forward, finds Jake Lawler. Goes back to Danny Ellis, about 35 yards out from his own goal. Does well to find Steve Drench, who passes back. And Steve Drench now takes a few touches, gets it out of his area, and aims forward, trying to find Adam Boys. Lawler does well to find Boys. Boschel took a bobble just about 30 yards out, dead centre. He's going to try and find Rovery on the left. Instead, it took a bobble, but Guiseley are able to get it back through Forrest to Rovery. Rhys Maynell just getting the ball forward, but he's tackled. He was outnumbered 2-on-1, but it's going to be a throw-in for Guiseley. And a good start for the Lions. They know that they're in a position where they need to get a goal, getting the men forward. And this is a good start, a lively start by Guiseley, who in that first half didn't really create too many chances. Colwyn Bay had the two clear-cut chances. Great save by Drench. Two saves by Drench. One was a really good save by him. The other was a routine save. But again, Colwyn Bay creating their chances. And Frank Sinclair shouting instructions at his players. Frame was taken, finds Danny Hall. Ball goes backwards to find him, and well, Danny Hall trying to get the ball back forward, finding Gavin Rovery, but the ball had just gone out of play, and about 35 yards into the Colwyn Bay half. Colwyn Bay take the frame, and it looks like there's going to be a free kick for Colwyn Bay on the centre of the halfway line, and it was for a push by Rhys Maynell on Danny Taylor. Rhys Maynell just trying to get his head onto the ball. Instead, Danny Taylor just leaned in. Rhys Maynell pushed, and the referee gives the free kick, and Colwyn Bay have actually got every player now inside the Guiseley half, minus the keeper and the player who's taking this free kick. So the ball's going to be lofted forward now. Gets into the area, and it's headed on, and Danny Ellis is going to have to clear it, and the ball is cleared away by Rhys Maynell, who finds Danny Forrest. Rovery trying to find Adam Boys. Does really well. Nice touch by Boys. Finds Forrest. Forrest cuts inside, finds Adam Boys. Boys crosses it across the face of goal. The keeper, Chris Sanner, does so well. And Nick, what a fantastic half this has been so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks a little bit brighter so far, doesn't it? And guys, you need to up their game in the second half. Did you sell me out, by the way, while I wasn't sat here? I've no idea yet. I hope the town planners are in today, because with the cricket on, the queues to get a drop of water, and the queue from the pie hut is still all the way around past the first aid cabin now.
And so it is, and Colwyn Bay have just had a chance there. It was Jamie Ellison with a shot, but it went high and wide over the bar. No real chance there for Guiseley. But Nick, just how important is it for Guiseley then, just to try and get that early goal? Just calm down.
Well, they need to get a bit of impetus in this game. They need to snatch a bit of the initiative. Really, it's the ground has got that kind of bank holiday, sunshines, early summer sort of gentle hubbub around it, and on the pitch the game's been nice to watch, but without any real excitement. And Guiseley haven't made the best of the chances so far, but they're playing with a little bit more urgency so far since half-time.
Yeah, they most certainly are, and it's Danny Forrest to Gavin Rovery on the wing. He looks like he's going to cut inside, get into the area, that's what he does, but he was 2-on-1, he was handicapped there, and the ball's able to be cleared by Colwyn Bay. And, well, Colwyn Bay, well, just for a second there, it looked like Rob Hopeley might be threading through Jamie Ellison, but Steve Drench alert and able to clear to Boys. To Brooksby, Holdsworth, back to Boys, to Boschel, and Boschel might have a shot here. He's he was centre of the goal. Forrest to Rovry, inside the area on the left side, and Rovry does well, gets the corner, and just there it looked like Danny Boschel might have a shot. It was blocked, but guys, it's good pressure by them.
Yeah, it's a bit more of what Guiseley need to be doing, and Gavin out on the left we haven't seen enough of in this game. I wonder if, and we'll just wait and see when they line up again, I wonder if Danny Forrest has just pushed further forward a little bit and Gavin out to the left, whether they're going for a slightly different shape.
Brooksby crosses the ball in, and it's headed away by Jamie Crawford. He's going to go out for a throw-in here on the right. Danny Ellis to take. Well, he looked like he was going to take it. Might just, he's going to let Andy Holdsworth take it instead. He might just be able to get a bit more distance on his throw if he wants to do that. Finds Boschel. Back to Holdsworth. And Boschel, nice play between the two. Holdsworth looked like he might have been lining up to shoot. Instead, he finds Reece Maynell on the shot, and it just goes out. Always going wide, the keeper didn't look concerned, but good build-up play there by the free man.
Yeah, and sometimes with Guiseley, you want to see them take an earlier shot. You want to force the defence back a little bit and not have them always thinking they've got lots of time while Guiseley patiently sort of build up and pass it around. And they need to mix it up, otherwise they do run the risk of being a little bit predictable to play against.
Well, 5 minutes into the second half, 50 minutes into the match. You are listening to Guiseley Radio. It's currently 0-0 between Guiseley and Colwyn Bay, and Guiseley are currently just clearing the ball out of the penalty area with Steve Drench. Ball finds Cameron Dawa, who, he hooked the ball forward, and Guiseley just for a second looked a little bit confused, but Danny Boschel does well to find Steve Drench, who again gets distance on his kick, gets it into the Colwyn Bay half, and find Danny Forrest heads on to Adam Boys, who just didn't have enough, trying to find Wayne Brooksby on the wing. Instead, Guiseley go back again with Danny Boschel to Steve Drench. This time Drench goes for a different wing, again same result. Colwyn Bay are able to clear, but looks like Gavin Rovry will be able to give chase, and Rovry did so well until Danny Taylor was able to just get his foot in and cleared the ball away, and Colwyn Bay now back on possession, and the ball's lofted forward. Danny Hall sees the ball bouncing, does well to get his head onto it and find Steve Drench.
It does look like guys who've gone 4-4-2 with Wayne and Gavin as the right and left wingers respectively, and Danny Forrest pushing forward as another out and out striker, and that will change the game and it will create new opportunities for them. But of course, losing the man from midfield is going to give Colwyn Bay a bit of extra space to work in as well. So it could go either way. It'll be interesting to see how the second half progresses. Who benefits most from that change in formation?
Danny Boschel on the halfway line finds Jake Lawler just to the left of him. Lawler loops the ball forward, finds Reece Maynell, and now this is good play by Guiseley. Danny Boschel, who's just caught inside the Colwyn Bay half. Referee gave the free kick, and it's Andy Holdsworth will take about 5 yards inside the Colwyn Bay half, and on the right, Holdsworth can whip this in. They're getting the big men forward. Jake Lawler, Danny Ellis, Danny Holland, the goal-scoring record Ellis has had recently. I'm expecting him to get his head on this and bury it into the top corner. Anyway, it's Holdsworth who will whip this in, and he tries to get the distance. It doesn't beat the first Colwyn Bay man, but it's going to, it fell to Danny Boschel on the volley. Didn't really get anything on it. Hits the Colwyn Bay defender, and Colwyn Bay are able to clear after the ball hits off Wayne Brooksby, and it's going to be another frame for Colwyn Bay, just halfway inside their own half.
Yeah, and guys, they have attempted to press on a little bit since half-time, as we've said. At the moment, of the midfielders, obviously Danny Boschel will tend to lie a little bit deeper and Jake a little bit further forward, but they've been playing enough together recently that they can switch over if they need to. At the moment, though, they're offering to get back and mark.
Cameron Darkwa on the ball now, running forward, coming down this wing, and he's done really well there. He's going to get a corner. Ball hits off Jake Lawler, and he did really well there. 20-yard run. Looked like he was going to cut inside. Instead, decided to go for the cross. Make sure the ball hits off a Guiseley player, and it's a corner for Colwyn Bay, which is taken quickly. Williams to cross it in now. Hits off Gavin Rovry, and Williams is now going to have to chase after the ball. He's running away from the Guiseley penalty area and hoops the ball back in. And Jake Lawler got his head onto it, cleared it, but Williams hits it back in. Looked like a cross-come shot. It's easy enough for Steve Drench, who distributes yet again nice and quickly, finds Reece Maynell, and they're cutting inside. They're now inside the Colwyn Bay half, just slowly moving the ball forward. Boschel, Maynell, back to Boschel. This is a nice patient build-up play by Guiseley. Forrest, Boys, just outside the Colwyn Bay penalty area now, and now it's Wayne Brooksby on the wing, going to cross in. It takes the deflection off a Colwyn Bay defender, and a wasted chance there for Guiseley. And then Danny Boschel just pushes in to Jamie Ellison, who falls over very easily, and it's a free kick for Colwyn Bay.
Double frustration for Guiseley after that patient, well-worked passing move that Wayne Brooksby's cross couldn't beat the first man, and then I'm afraid the referees bought one a little bit there. Just the Bay players felt Danny Boschel stood behind him and just decided to go to ground and chance his arm, see what the referee will give. And it's relieved the pressure.
That free kick's going to be taken by Sanna. Gets the ball forward. Danny Hall, again, I've mentioned him so many times, he's clearing the ball ever so well. Anyway, the ball's now in the area, and it's going to be a penalty, this, for Colwyn Bay. Jamie Ellison got the ball just inside the penalty area, got it past Danny Ellis. Ellis sticks a leg out, and Ellison falls over, and he's given the penalty.
I don't know what to make of that, really. It looks very soft, and as you say, Danny kind of hung a leg out, maybe. I'm not sure. But what it's done is it's sucked the energy, what energy there was, right out of the ground. And it feels suddenly like it could be one of those afternoons. And if Drench were to pull off yet another unlikely penalty save, maybe that would have the opposite effect. But at the moment, it's got a sense of inevitability about it, this penalty kick.
Well, it's going to be Jamie Ellison, the man who was fouled, who will take this penalty. He lines up, has a shot, and he stands Steve Drench the wrong way. And Colwyn Bay have taken the lead about 12 minutes into this second half. It's Guiseley 0, Colwyn Bay 1. And Steve Drench has made so many good saves, so many penalty saves recently, but that time sent the wrong way. It's a good penalty.
Yeah, it was. As you say, sent him the wrong way, put it low and right into the corner. And Guiseley have a lot to do to try and rescue something from this game now. We've been talking the whole way through about how they could try and get some more attacking play going, try and make some more good chances and unlock the Colwyn Bay defence. But that was all with a view to trying to get 3 points from the game. As it stands, the crowd waking up. Hopefully the players will a little bit as well, because they need to work very, very hard to get anything at all from this tie.
Well, Colwyn Bay did have the ball for a second and looked like they were going to start attacking. Instead, Guiseley got it, and Andy Holdsworth has just tried to clear the ball forward to try and find Adam Boys instead. Goes straight into the arms of the keeper. He throws his arm up in the air, apologising, because that was a poor attempt of a pass there, and it means Colwyn Bay can reclaim possession. But Guiseley do now get the ball back. It's Gavin Rothery just inside the Colwyn Bay half. Rothery trying to chip the ball forward to Danny Forrest. Doesn't beat the first man again, and Colwyn Bay, yet again it's Sean Williams who's able to just get the ball and distribute it to the wing. Stevens. Darkwa, it looked like the ball had gone out of play on the halfway line, and Darkwa shouting at the linesman. The whole of the ball did not go out. Well, from where I'm sat, it looked like it did.
Yeah, it's right in front of us. It looked like a throw-in, but ho-hum. We had one that we didn't agree with of those in the first half, so fair enough.
Holdsworth to Lawler to Ellis. And Ellis trying to loop the ball forward to find Danny Forrest. Instead, Colwyn Bay were able to block that, but the ball now falls to Jake Lawler, to Maynell on the wing. And Maynell is about 35 yards out. He's trying to get a pass down the wing. A little bit too much on it. No one had really read it. It goes out for a goal kick, and yet more frustration for Guiseley.
Yeah, it's suddenly all of those things that haven't quite been working as the game's gone on, they're all magnified once you go behind. You start noticing them a lot more clearly, and I wonder how much Ollie Johnson's got in him. In fact, actually, that might be a good shout. It looks like he's maybe even getting ready to come on. I wonder how many minutes he's got on his legs, because I think as you look at the bench and you look at the options on there, he's the one who's most likely, with the class that he's got, to change the course of the game.
Well, yeah, you are right. It looks like Ollie Johnson is just taking off his tracksuit bottoms and getting ready to come on. Ball now with Danny Forrest, who again is outnumbered, and Colwyn Bay, they've really compacted the defensive midfield, so whenever guys they have an attacking position, they look like the ball will be taken off the attacking player. Maynell's just miskicked the ball, and Colwyn Bay are able to get a cross in, and the ball's fallen to, the ball nearly fell to Jamie Ellison. Instead, Steve Drench is able to collect, but nervy time there for Guiseley, so near for Colwyn Bay to get a second, and that would have been a hammer blow, a massive blow for Guiseley. And well, just when it looked like Guiseley were going to get the ball back, Jake Lawler has a coming together with Gareth Evans on the halfway line. The free kick's being given, and it's taken real quickly by Colwyn Bay, and it's fallen to Cameron Darkwa, who's in the area. Ellison on the turn and has a shot, and just over the bar. And for Guiseley there, well, they got away with one.
Well, it was a good effort, wasn't it? And it was a good attempt at looking for the top corner, just didn't quite have enough on it. Danny Forrest is sat down on the halfway line. I suspect, regardless of whether he's picked up a knock or whatever, I suspect his number would have been called anyway, as it is being now, to be replaced by Ollie Johnson. Not been able to get into the game on the left in the first half, didn't get any change at all out of Taylor, and since half time going forward into central sort of striking position hasn't really improved matters for him. So it's the sensible change to make. We'll just wait and see whether Johnson goes and plays up alongside Adam Boyes, as AJ has been doing in recent weeks, or whether they'll drop in behind and play with the 4-2-3-1 shape. But either way, he brings something different, clever feet and a bag of tricks, and if he can play out the rest of the game, then maybe he can make something for the Lions.
Guiseley trying to get the ball, and they're going to get a free kick, a judged handball about 30 yards out of goal. It's on the left. It's Wayne Brooksby again. He looks like he's going to cross this in. All the big men getting forward. Danny Ellis running forward to get for this free kick. They're just all on the outskirts of the penalty area, and it's going to be Wayne Brooksby to cross this in. Brooksby's not happy with the wall. He's just complaining that they've moved forward a little bit. Anyway, he'll whip the ball in. Just a little bit too much on it. Danny Ellis lunged forward, trying to get onto it, but it's always going out of play.
Oh, so close to being what they wanted. He didn't need to worry about the wall there, Wayne, because he was trying to shift the ball such a distance that it was always going to be above them. And he did exactly what he was trying to do, which is get it to the back post, and Danny Ellis arriving late, trying to get a head on it, but just didn't quite coincide as well as it's done a couple of times recently. And those are the things that just don't quite go for you when it's one of those days.
Sana clears the ball forward, and Guiseley look like they're going to be trying to get this ball back with Wayne Brooksby on the wing. He's inside his own area. He's trying to do a bit of defending. Clears the ball forward, and it's going to fall to Adam Boyes, who's on the same wing. Finds Ollie Johnson. First touch for Guiseley this afternoon, and he's done really well. Finds Brooksby will now get this ball in there. He crosses it in, and it's a good defensive header away by Tom Smith, who read the danger well, because Gavin Rothery was closing in and he was going to have a header there, a free header. Instead, Smith clears it, and Colwyn Bay, after that clearance, actually get a throw in. And, well, it just there for guys, a good touch by Ollie Johnson.
Yeah, it was. It just shows that he seems to have a little bit more time on the ball than everybody else does, Ollie Johnson, and it was he made a position for Wayne to deliver a much better cross from than his last couple, actually. As you say, it was a crucial intervention, because Gavin was measuring that, arriving at the back post with his head.
Ollie Johnson now, and again does so well, takes 4 or 5 touches, then finds Rhys Maynell on the right wing, and Maynell is just taking his time, and he's actually kicked the ball out of play for a goal kick. Again, no one reading a Rhys Maynell pass, which is again just yet more frustration.
Yeah, it's just not quite clicking, is it? And as you say, you can ignore some of those things when it's 0-0 and you're just waiting for the team to get going. But when they're 1-0 down, all of those little things that don't quite come together are that bit more frustrating. They come under the spotlight a bit more. The fans start to get a bit anxious as well. And at the moment, it's not working out today for Guiseley.
Ball cleared forward by Chris Sanner from the goal kick, and Danny Hall is adjudged to have brought down Rob Hopley just nudged him off the ball. He goes down real easily. And again, it's a free kick for Colwyn Bay. This time it's just inside the Guiseley half. And well, again, they're getting some men forward. Only a few, though. They've taken it quickly again, and it's Williams has a shot, and it's always drifting wide. It's about 5 yards wide of the goal in the end. It was always going wide, but again, Colwyn Bay taking that quick free kick, and again, Guiseley switched off.
Yeah, it's getting a bit anxious now. Guys, they've tried the different formation. They've tried the 4-4-2. They're still playing that 4-4-2, more or less, by the way. Gavin's definitely playing on the wide left. Not Ollie Johnson does naturally just drop off a little bit deeper, but essentially playing as another striker.
Gavin Rothery now working his way into the penalty area, getting past his man, trying to get a cross in, trying to get a corner. Does so well, though. Finds Ollie Johnson, takes a touch. Johnson has a crosses it, finds Boys, it's in! It's Adam Boys! It's fantastic play by Gavin Rothery, who finds Ollie Johnson. It's a fantastic cross in. Adam Boys gets his foot onto the ball, and despite a man on the line trying his best to stop the effort going in, it nestles into the back of the net. It's Guiseley 1, Colwyn Bay 1.
A fantastic impact by the substitute, Ollie Johnson. Said he has more time with the ball at his feet than anybody else on the pitch, and there he took his time in the area after Gavin had made the running on the left, played it into Ollie Johnson, saw 2 or 3 men off around him, waited and waited and waited for the opportunity to play the ball that he wanted, and when he did, it was to Adam Boys, who just did enough to force it into the net.
Well, just for a second there, I thought the ball was going to be cleared off the line. Relieved it has gone in, and Guiseley now are in a position where they know another goal, and it'll be another 3 points for Guiseley, but they're going to have to be wary of Colwyn Bay. And yet again, a Colwyn Bay player has been adjudged to have been pushed down. This time it was Wayne Brooksby on Cameron Darwar.
A little bit clumsy that by Wayne, just arrived late and barrelled into the back of him.
Darwar does well to get a corner, and it's a ball off Andy Holdsworth, and it's another corner for Colwyn Bay. And yet again, Sean Williams seems to be their set piece taker, runs forward. He'll be taking this corner. Colwyn Bay have got 5 men in the area. Whipped in by Williams, got plenty on it. The ball's going to actually end up finding Jake Lawler's head, and he's able to clear, but Colwyn Bay are going to keep possession with Rob Hopley, who's on the wing. He's looking to get a cross in. Instead, he takes the safer option, passes it backwards, and guys, it looked like they were going to be able to clear it. Instead, it's an effort by Anthony Stevens, and it's actually hit his own man, and ball's gone back all the way back to the Colwyn Bay goalkeeper after it looked like Colwyn Bay were going to create a chance.
Goal flash, North Ferriby have just equalised at home to Harrogate Town, 2-2 in that game now.
And it's going to be a handball. And, well, Nick's going to be talking about that, and the next voice you'll hear after that will be Colin Robertson.
Yeah, it was a handball. Crucial few minutes now for Guiseley. The crowd are awake. The players are playing with a bit of urgency, and if they can capitalise on that in the next few minutes, certainly to consolidate the equaliser they've made, maybe even to make 1 or 2 more chances, as we see one that doesn't quite work out for Adam Boys. And Guiseley have the opportunity to turn this game around.
Well, guys, he just came forward there for a moment. A little ball threaded through towards Boys. Just couldn't take it down. And it's gone out for a goal kick for Colwyn Bay. Very tense stuff here at Nethermoor. For a moment, it looked like it was going to be a pretty miserable afternoon. Colwyn Bay just on top. That penalty from Jamie Ellison, and then the equaliser a few moments ago from Boys. Now Guiseley have a throw-in or a free kick on the halfway line. It was Ollie Johnson's not happy that it's gone in our favour, despite the fact the ball was heading in his general direction.
Yeah, I think he wanted a chance to try and run onto that and get in behind the defence, but instead Guiseley will reset with a set piece.
Halfway line. Stephen Drench doesn't take this one. Reece Maynell will take everybody apart from Drench inside the Colwyn Bay half. They're looking to get this one on the edge of the 18-yard box. Floated in towards that direction. It goes up. The flag goes up very quickly. It looked to me like Danny Hall was a good few yards offside from the very moment the ball was kicked. And they were just trying to hang the goal side of the defence, it looked like, but didn't play that one particularly well.
No, but no harm done. The delivery wasn't quite as he wanted. He couldn't quite get his head through it. So it's not like they've lost a shot on goal as a result.
We're back underway. Goalkeeper launches it long. Danny Ellis heads it firmly away. Back into the area. Stephen Drench swiftly off his line. Sends it forward. Now Adam Boy's in a tussle to try and chase on the end of this one with Tom Smith. But Smith wins that one. And it's out here to the fullback, Stevens. He blasts it into the face of Wayne Brooksby, who complains to the referee because the referee's given a free kick to Colwyn Bay. Not quite sure he could do an awful lot about that.
No, but the free kick will happen from where the throwing would have happened. There's
not much into it. Needless to say, Wayne Brooksby gave him some feedback, didn't he?
And still is doing, yes.
Oh dear. 20 minutes to go. 1 each here between Colwyn Bay and Guiseley. Colwyn Bay took the lead through a penalty. The free kick taken now from Colwyn Bay's half up towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Guiseley clear their lines. Send it back upfield. Picked up by Gavin Rothery on the halfway line. Runs over the centre circle. Tugged back cynically by Sean Williams. There's an optimistic shout of off from the home crowd. But he hasn't had a yellow, so he will get a yellow for that, Nick.
Yeah, and deservedly so. They're so frustrating, those, and you know, when your own players do it, you're kind of glad that they do, because it interrupts a dangerous move. But with Gavin looking to break free there and moving at pace, just so frustrating to see him dragged back like that. And I don't know.
Free kick now to Guiseley. 2 yards from the centre circle. Don't sound so despondent.
First time I've been speechless all year.
5 players on the edge of the D. The ball played in towards the back post where Danny Ellis takes it, heads it back in goal bound towards Jake Lawler. He gets another flick on. Volley comes in from Gavin Rothery. A super strike from Gavin Rothery on the edge of the D. Drives the ball into the bottom right hand corner, giving the goalkeeper no chance. And it's now Guiseley 2, Colwyn Bay 1.
Well, what a turnaround in the last few minutes. I said that the next few minutes would be vital. Could Guiseley capitalise on coming back into the game and taking the ascendancy? They've done that, and as you say, he blasted it from the edge of the area through a sea of legs. No idea how that's gone through without clipping someone's shin or ankle or something, but that's exactly what it did, into the bottom corner, right against the post. Nothing the keeper could do. And we're on course again.
It's still goalless, I believe, at Leamington. And
they're having a less stressful afternoon than us then.
Guiseley now 2 goals to 1 to the good. We have 18 minutes to go. Picked up now by Williams for Colwyn Bay. Sends a rather aimless ball forward, out into touch for a throw into Guiseley in the right back position. And chance for a breather. That's what we have to do. Let's take the sting out of this now.
Yeah, absolutely. We've struggled enough with defending 1-goal leads recently that we should know that you got to keep the game up. You can't just assume now that it's going to be 3 or 4-1, or start patting each other on the back and celebrating a job well done. It's a job well done so far, but there's an awful lot of this game left.
Free kick's just been given, and it was because Wayne Brooksby went up for a ball. Very obvious little nudge on him by Cameron Darkwa. Free kick is 2 yards inside the Guiseley half on the right-hand side. Stephen Drench has come all the way out to take it.
Of course, if we were to get a third, we'd be in danger of another 3-all draw, wouldn't we?
Free kick is taken up towards Danny Ellis. The ball into the area. Adam Boyes gets on the end of it. Beaten away by Chris Sanner. And at the second attempt, Boyes just sends it back to the goalkeeper. Good work, though, again from Guiseley from the set piece. Now Colwyn Bay come out from right back, send it long, looking for Ellison, who's been at the heart of a few decisions this second half. Guiseley clear over the halfway line and out into touch. So it'll be a Colwyn Bay throw.
It's funny how a game changes, isn't it? Suddenly it looks like Guiseley can do no wrong. All those little passes that were just dropping short or slightly wide of their mark or slightly behind the player they were going for and breaking up momentum. Suddenly they all seem to be working at the moment.
It's that side of the season. It's all nerves at the moment. Guiseley just battling the ball up to the halfway line, but won back here by Sean Williams. Sent forward, cleared by Hall. Back into the other half. Boyes has a bit of a chase here against the centre half. Boyes wins it on the edge of the area. He's now got his back to goal. Lays it back here to Boschel. Boschel picks out Ollie Johnson. Johnson's free in the area. Gets a shot away. Well saved by the goalkeeper. Could have been the chance for the third, but the goalkeeper reacted so well. The ball goes back to the halfway line. Back to Stephen Drench in his goal. Well shepherded by Guiseley to hold on to the ball. sent long by Drench, and that'll be collected by Chris Sanner.
Lovely work by Adam Boys. He chases very well. He's definitely got the beating of the Colwyn Bay defenders for pace, but then also the strength to hold off, wait for his own players to catch up with the break. And it was Danny Boschel, and then obviously threaded it across to Ollie Johnson, who again has time in the area to pick a shot out. And as you say, it was a good save by the keeper.
And for a moment, we just thought we might have that breakthrough. We were talking about the third goal. Colwyn Bay, meanwhile, have a throw on the far side. Another goal from the Skrill North of major consequence is that North Ferriby are now 3-2 up against Harrogate Town. So looks like they're heading back up, keep the top of the table. Colwyn Bay with the ball now, right by the corner flag. They get it into the area. There's no one to be the target for Rob Hopley, and so Stephen Drench claims comfortably. 15 minutes to go. Guiseley lead by 2-1. Drench with the clearance, sends it down field, and goalkeeper Sanner and fullback Stevens come out just to shepherd that one back. He tried to shepherd it back, but it took an awkward sort of angle and has gone out for a throw-in. And Colwyn Bay pegged back inside their left-back position at the moment. And Guiseley win the throw. Well worked there from Ollie Johnson, closing down and forcing Stevens into the sort of shanked clearance.
Yeah, absolutely. And those were the situations where Guiseley weren't managing to keep any pressure on in the first half. There was only really Adam Boys doing any proper harrying around there. Everyone else was just reacting to things that were already taking place. But when you hurry the defenders, you make yourself a much easier time. You get possession for free.
Guys, they take the throw and win another one almost immediately. Still in right-hand side of the Colwyn Bay half as we attack their goal, rather. A level with the penalty area.
And what I mean by that is this does take the sting out of the game. You know, a couple of throw-ins back-to-back, no rush to take them, and just slow it down, calm everyone down a little bit. That's what guys are needed at the moment.
Holsworth still hasn't taken it yet. Does eventually. Gives it to Wayne Brooksby. Goes to the touchline. Slips. Holds on to it. 2 players on him. Tries to earn a set piece off them. You can't see a thing from where we are at the moment. The ball eventually is given up by Guiseley because it's going to be a free kick inside the Colwyn Bay half. And there will be a first substitution for the visitors.
And they're making a change in midfield. From the right place, ref. Not unexpected entirely, because they've been overrun a little bit in there in the last 10 or 15 minutes. I can understand why Frank Sinclair will want to change the bodies in there. Who's this who's come on? He looks like a big lad.
Yeah, Jamie Tolley, who's come on for Jamie Crowther. And like you say, you won't meet him down a dark alley on a dark night, would you? He's a big old unit.
Not even a fully lit alley.
Guiseley now have the ball back in the Colwyn Bay half. And it's been knocked out into touch. Is that our throw? I believe it is. But again, it's just sort of steadying up here. 13 minutes to go, waiting for the next ball to come on. Colwyn Bay trying to hurry things along. Andy Holdsworth rather lazily takes the ball in his hands, waiting to take the throw, back level with the penalty area on the right-hand side. Guys, you have 2 players in Wayne Brooksby and Ollie Johnson. Holdsworth needs to take this one, and otherwise he'll test the patience of the referee. Does. In towards Wayne Brooksby. Brooksby sends it back to Holdsworth. Nice little 1-2 now with Ollie Johnson. Johnson's got 2 players around him. An awful task for him to do, but he does really well and takes it through both of them. Goes towards the byline. Can he cut this one back? He's taken out, surely. There's a bit of a shout of a push there on him as he goes right down to the touchline. Nothing given, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Well, he didn't particularly strongly appeal for it, but the fans around it and behind the goal certainly did. From here, it looked like a foul.
It would have been a penalty. Referee hasn't given it, and then eventually gives the free kick against Jamie Tolley from the ball. Him tussling with Jake Lawler.
Yeah, I mean, Jake Lawler's a little bit taller than the substitute, but still found himself easily held off. It was obviously a foul challenge in the process.
3 yards in from the centre, from the halfway line. Stephen Drench actually comes off his line to take into the area. Finds Wayne Brooksby. Brooksby takes it down, but is dispossessed. The clearance as far as Holdsworth. Holdsworth's headed tackle with Darkwa. And now it's a chance here for Hopley to come on the counter-attack for Colwyn. plays it short, gets a good return from Williams. Now Rob Hopley down the left-hand side on the left flank, shadowed by Jake Lawler. Hopley cuts in field, plays the ball in well here to Sean Williams. Good tackle from Ollie Johnson, gets the ball away from his man, and then eventually Andy Holdsworth completes the clearance. Tense moments though every time Colwyn Bay come forward.
That's good work, that Ollie Johnson, tracking back all the way to the edge of his own area. Certainly not afraid to get stuck in. Certainly not come on just for the flicks and the nice touches. He's getting himself involved in all parts of the game.
Still 2-1 to Guiseley, if you're just joining us here on Guiseley AFC Radio. And another scoreline is 2-1 now to Telford in their game against Gloucester City. So both the teams at the top are leading as it stands. And Hensford Town are leading 2-1. Now Colwyn Bay try to get a long ball forward and onto the end of Jamie Ellison's head, but well watched by Danny Hall, heads back and finds Stephen Drench with a return ball. Clearance flicked on by Boys, picked up by Royal. Jonathan Royal sends it long. Guiseley defending in numbers now. Gavin Rothery back there to send the ball back, but it's intercepted and picked up now by Jamie Ellison. Ellison on the right flank, about level with the penalty area on the right hand side. Right on the touchline with two Guiseley players around him. Sends it back to Danny Taylor. Taylor's dispossessed by Danny Boschel. Good work from Guiseley. Now Gavin Rothery can help it up to the halfway line. Boys has got an awful lot to do. Does close down the defender, Royal, and he goes to ground to ensure he gets the free kick. And it's a free kick to Colwyn Bay, level with the centre circle inside their own half. Sana comes off his line, sends it long, not resting for anything. Clear handball from Hopley, nothing given against it, and then eventually cleared by Danny Hall, and the free kick is given for a late challenge on Danny Hall, but Hopley took that down with the left arm.
Yeah, it looked obvious from here, didn't it? Obviously wasn't to the referee.
Free kick anyway to Guiseley. Came to nothing, so we can breathe for a moment. There's still no score, as I understand, from the Leamington game. So still Boston 0, Leamington 0, as I understand.
All of the remaining outfield substitutes for Guiseley now out and all been sent out to warm up. Not with a huge amount of purpose at the moment, it has to be said, but Potts, and Ben Parker and Ryan Williams it is today, isn't it?
Yeah. He's a talented player who could yet break through to that first team. Guiseley, meanwhile, having to defend. Great header from Danny Ellis. Little flick on from Wayne Brooksby. Jake Lawler loses the ball in the centre circle, battles it back under pressure from Darkwa. In the end does well, gets it out here to Andy Holdsworth on the right hand side. On the halfway line now with Danny Boschel. Heavy touch from Wayne Brooksby, but Boschel recovers the ball, sends it long up towards the edge of the D where Boys is in an aerial battle. Colwyn Bay win that one. Taken down though well on the return by Jake Lawler. He sends the ball out to the left flank. There's a bit of a chase for Gavin Rothery, forces Danny Taylor into making the clearance, and it's a Guiseley throw. But good work in there by Jake Lawler.
Yeah, it was. He's shown good strength and composure in there in the latter part of the game so far. He's had to really step up his levels, especially since we went to a 4-4-2. He and Danny Boschel have had a lot more work to get through between them, and they're both stepping up so far.
2-1 still to the Lions. 7 minutes to go of normal time. Guiseley with a throw. The ball now played in towards the edge of the D, headed away firmly. Back here to Danny Ellis. Ellis takes it down comfortably, gives it to Holdsworth. Holdsworth lays it forward, looking for Adam Boys. Headed out into touch by Smythe, and it's gone for a Guiseley throw. About level with the 18-yard box. Good crowd here today. And they're all congregated at the end, hoping for a third Guiseley goal.
Quite a lot of people in Leeds United tracksuit tops and things wandering around, I noticed at half-time. Hopefully they'll be enjoying what they're seeing since we come back from this 1-0 deficit to find ourselves 2-1 in the lead.
Holdsworth now with the ball on the right-hand side. Guiseley keep battling for it. Indiscriminately, a free kick's been awarded. I'm not quite sure what that was for. Wayne Brooksby has a little bit of a laugh, but something went on in that little tussle between Brooksby and three players. There was a big shout from the Colwyn Bay side. And it's a free kick to the visitors.
Fans in the stand very exercised about some part of that free kick being given. I'm not quite sure what's got to them. And substitution as well.
Dennis will have Pilliner taken on to the field in place of Jamie Ellison, I believe. Called that one right. The ball now taken forward by Colwyn Bay, launched along towards the edge of the D. They've got everyone in Guiseley's half now. Picked up though by Ollie Johnson. Chance here for Gavin Rothery to have a little run over the halfway line, perhaps cause another counter-attacking move. Rothery with great pace, gets into the area, lobs the goalkeeper just over the crossbar and behind for a goal kick, but a good interception from Ollie Johnson, and then great running from Gavin Rothery onto the edge of the 18-yard box. A left-footed volley, a left-footed lob rather, just went over the goalkeeper and behind.
Well, since going 2-1 up, Guiseley have had a bit more space in there because Colwyn Bay obviously are forcing forward, trying to get themselves a little bit further out, whereas they were playing quite deep and quite compact earlier. Obviously, that means there's chance for a bit of running to be done. And when you see Gavin running at a defence like that, it's a sight to behold, isn't it? I mean, every time he does it, he looks dangerous, and because he's scored so many goals this season, you could sort of expect something from every run like that he produces.
Clearance from Drench, found a Colwyn Bay man, was returned over the top and all the way back to the Guiseley keeper. 4.5 minutes to go normal time. A long clearance from Drench. Boys tried to follow the flight of that ball just a little bit ahead of him. Went over him and back to Chris Sanner. And Sanner drops it on the ground. Boys doesn't give him a moment to relax with it, but it's a good clearance from the Colwyn Bay keeper. Sends it upfield. Then a good interception from Danny Hall on Rob Hopley. Hopley's taken the ball, I think, full in the face and is down on the ground for a moment. Hall just over him, looking a little concerned, but it's gone out for a throw-in. Now comes the physio.
Yeah, that might have even been one of those. It was a sort of a hooked clearance by Danny Hall. It might have even been one where the ball's made contact with the Colwyn Bay striker's face at the same time as Hall's kind of kicking it, if you see what I mean, if they're all kind of in contact at the same time. So he's sort of kicked the ball right onto him. And that's going to hurt. He's all right. I mean, he's not out or anything like that. He's just going to take a minute to wait for the stars to clear from around his head.
3.5 minutes to go. There's always a sting in the tail in these games with Colwyn Bay. That's the only thing that's nagging me. We were 2-0 up, I think, last year, weren't we, when they pulled them back 2-2 here. We were 2-0 up when they pulled us back to 2-2 at their place earlier on this season.
Well, the only thing that can't happen today is Craig Hobson can't get sent off. So.
We're certainly going to end up the game without him anyway, that's for sure.
Is anyone on the yellow card for us? I don't think they are yet.
No, not as yet. The game's back underway. Now the throw-in taken temporarily down to 10 men at Colwyn Bay. Ball at the feet of Stephen Drench and Slav Pilnina on. It's a heck of a name. And Pilliner's forces Drench into making the clearance. It's up in the air at the moment. Nobody knew quite where the ball was, and neither did Ollie Johnson as you took it. Great skill to take it past two. Has a run on the edge of the D. Ollie Johnson into the area. Great left-footed shot. Good save from the keeper. Brilliant work there from Ollie Johnson. Great footwork and great skill.
Well, he might not have known where the ball was at first, but once he found it, he knew what to do with it, didn't he? I mean, he's got such quick feet. He doesn't even need to move that quickly in terms of his running, because he just sees players away so quickly with those little flicks and feints that he does that create him the space. And another good save by the keeper.
Chris Sanner's done 2 or 3, hasn't he, in that second half? Two from Ollie Johnson. Throw in now to Colwyn Bay, level with the 18-yard box. Stephen Drench went to clear from right back position and just shanked the clearance straight over the stands. So they've had to recover the ball. 1.5 minutes, but when Colwyn Bay have these throws, they're launched in by Smith, and he can really, really send them some distance. And he does again, up towards the edge of the 6-yard box, nodded on. The guys get a foot away, and there's a big shout from Colwyn Bay. It was a corner, and I'm surprised actually the referee has given a goal kick. It did look like they had a bit of a shout there, but in the end it is a goal kick to the Lions. And breathe.
Yeah, I think Mark's chosen to breathe. He's let the substitutes sit back down again. They all look very settled in the dugout again now. And this will be the 11 to see the game out, hopefully.
A minute to go. The referee's gone off to have a chat with Frank Sinclair.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be a Colwyn Bay game if Frank didn't get himself involved with some nonsense at some stage.
Frank Sinclair had sent off as they're the 4 words that go together, don't they, whenever we meet these?
You'd think he'd settle down in his old age, but he doesn't seem to have at all.
Good on him. Header up in the air. Boschel looking to get on the end of it. Danny Ellis does. Still in the centre circle. Colwyn Bay get the ball under control eventually. Danny Boschel closing down Sean Williams, his opposite number. Ollie Johnson chases, but Taylor does well to get the ball forward. Cut out though. Guiseley pick it up in their own half and then concede possession rather cheaply. Sean Williams picks it up, sends it out to the left-hand side. Darkwa now, 5 yards from the edge of the D. Gets past one man, lays it square to Williams. Williams drives it, takes a deflection off a Guiseley man. Drench watches it well, holds on to it.
Whoa, heart and mouth moment that. They can't afford any more slip-ups like that. And we got quite a bit of injury time to play out as well. 4 minutes of it. Not quite sure where all of that's come from. There's only just been that one in the last few minutes, the knock to the face in the second half. A couple of substitutions, but no more than that. Anyway, 4 minutes is what the Lions are faced with to see the game out.
Could be a huge 4 minutes in this season. Guys are leading by 2-1. Colwyn Bay always look dangerous, but this time it's Guiseley on the attack. A ball over here towards Adam Boys. Boys chases. Can he keep it on play? He can't. Just couldn't get the control on the ball he'll have wanted, and it's gone out for a goal kick.
He's not the only one, but I tell you, I'd get Adam Boys wrapped up in cotton wool for the next couple of weeks. He's been extraordinary in recent weeks, scoring every single game he plays in.
Guys, he just shanked the ball up in the air for a moment there. Heart and mouth, and Andy Holdsworth does enough to clear. But Colwyn Bay really about to launch the kitchen sink at Guiseley, I think, in these last few moments. Ollie Johnson, it's just been announced as the sponsors man of the match. That's quite an accolade coming off the bench late into the game as he did.
He has made a huge impact on the game. He added so much that Guiseley were lacking in terms of flicks and link-up play that just wasn't working for them at all in the game up until that point. And it's a brave one to give to a substitute who's only played sort of half an hour or so, but I can see why it's been given.
The ball cleared from Stephen Drench, goes all the way downfield and for a goal kick. We've had a minute and a half of that 4. Sanna takes the goal kick quite hurriedly, as you imagine, up towards Hopley. Jake Lawler wins the header. He can't send it towards anyone, so he sends it back to Sanna. Sanna takes it down. Guys, you need to be closing him down now, I feel. Instead, Sanna has all the time in the world to play this one long, and guys, he's settling deep. Hall gets the headed clearance. Pressed on as Colwyn Bay look to get a late equaliser into this game. Headed up in the air by Stevens on the halfway line. Guiseley clear. Andy Holdsworth, but it's back into the Colwyn Bay half without a Guiseley player around and out for a throw-in. In left-back position, Smith will take this one, sends it down the flank, and it's nodded on by Royal and out into touch for a Guiseley throw on the halfway line. Full-time ref? I know there's another minute and a half, but it doesn't matter, does it?
Well, it doesn't when we play Hensford, so might as well get it over and done with now.
620 here this afternoon.
That's all right for a bank holiday. Everyone's off at the coast. We're out doing family things. Well, this is a family thing. Quite a lot of families, a lot of kids in the ground today, actually, again, which is always good to see. Didn't have that a few years ago here.
Free kick's just been given to Colwyn Bay inside their own half. It's launched long by Sanna, headed away by Jake Lawler. Well repelled again by Guiseley, but they've still got to work hard here. Danny Hall gets a touch. Gavin Rothery tries to complete the clearance, sends it high in the air onto the halfway line. Colwyn Bay win it back. Jake Lawler with a good brave header. Once again, though, picked up by Colwyn Bay in the centre circle, sent forward up towards Hopley. Hopley gets a flick on. Darkwell, bit of trickery from him on the edge of the area. Claims for a foul, nothing given. Williams whips the ball in, up towards the back post. Nobody can get on the end of it, and it goes out for a goal kick. Tense moment there.
Yeah, these are fine margins, aren't they, at this stage of the season? I guess it's just going to get more and more nervous from now until the end of the final game, whenever that may be. We may have a post-season extension to play in, but
you don't dare say the words, dare you, at the moment?
Well, no. The job was to use the games in hand to see if the Guiseley could, complete this remarkable turnaround in the season. And having done that with the last game in hand that they had at home on Tuesday against Harrogate, then it was 3 games. It's in Guiseley's own hands. 3 games to try and see the season out and consolidate that playoff spot. It was so close to
Guiseley
the first of those.
Battling here, Guiseley with Colwyn Bay. Wayne Brooksby went in for a free kick that's just been given against Wayne Brooksby, and Brooksby's been called over by the referee. I'm not quite sure whether he's the man who was the one to be. And the referee's doing the motion around the ground. He's not quite sure what he's doing, is he? To be fair,
no, he's got no idea who to book there. I'm sure
clueless.
Wayne Brooksby wasn't the person, but he goes into the book anyway. He uses up the seconds. This will be the last move of the game, I think. Now, the linesman wants to talk to the referee. Thinks he's seen something that the referee hasn't as well.
So the linesman's calling the referee over, having a chat with him, and I don't know quite what he's doing. He's perhaps telling him he's got the wrong man or something. But there will be a delay on this. By my reckoning, we are now a minute over stoppage time that was allowed, the 4 minutes. We're now into the 5th minute stoppage. Referee, I don't know if he's going to take any action, but he's now calling someone over from the Colwyn Bay side of things. And I'm not quite sure who that is.
I'm not sure either. It'd probably be a severe letting off rather than a booking, because the referee didn't see it himself. I doubt he's got the nerve to do it himself.
Sean Williams gets a good talking to, which will help considering we're a minute into stoppage time. The long free kick is taken. Critical moment. Guiseley get a header away, but only as far as Williams. He's finally blown the whistle. He's blown the whistle 5 minutes and 40 seconds after the end of the 45. And goodness knows where all that came from. Shake of the hands between the players. Thankfully, the game that threatened to bubble over just there for a second hasn't done so. But what an afternoon of football. It looked like it was going to be a tough one for the Lions, and it proved to be. Jamie Ellison with the penalty on 57 set Colwyn Bay away, and then into the second half it was Adam Boys with a great equaliser on 65 and Gavin Rothery on 71 that gave the 3 points to the Lions. What a tense and tetchy afternoon, Nick, and we can't take too many more of those, can we?
No, I mean, it's an enormously characterful comeback from Guiseley in the second half. Mark's made the changes. First he tried changing the formation, and then he's tried changing the personnel, bringing Ollie Johnson on, who we know can't really start a game, so you can't fault the starting lineup, but it was the right change to make at the right point in the game. And he's been involved in both of the goals and just about everything good guys they've done since then, enough so that he's caught the Man of the Match award. I do, because we're eternal pessimists. I do think every time Guiseley or every time your team has to dip into their reserves of energy and sort of application to make a comeback like that, I don't know if it's true or not. It just feels like maybe it leaves a little bit less in the tank for the last part of the season, and I hope we don't arrive at the post-season. Should we get to the playoffs, I hope we just don't arrive there with nothing left to give because we're so pessimistic. But with it all in our hands, with 3 games to go, having made the best of the games in hand that we had, 3 games left against lower league opposition, and at the end of today, we have to say the first one, job done.
Well, it's 3 massive points this afternoon, and I'm just keeping refreshing the Twitter feed just to see what the full-time score is of the Leamington Boston United game, and at the moment it's not coming through, but as I got the impression from the tweets I was able to follow, they were drawing 0-0. Guiseley, of course, have 3 points over on Boston. And with 3 points here and 2 points, if they've dropped them, then of course that would mean we'd only need to win on Monday at bottom side Workington to guarantee our place in the playoffs.
Yeah, just in the last 7 or 8 seconds, there's 1 minute left in the Boston game, so we'll have to wait on that result, I think.
Yeah, I just thought we might be able to bring you the marvellous news just before the end of the game. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to do it. Technology, you just can't cut the mustard, can it, nowadays?
Well, it's because they've had 5 added minutes there, so they're running even later than we were. And but I don't want you to miss your interview with Mark, so we should probably...
We'll cut this short. Okay, well, thanks very much for listening. We'll be back again Monday afternoon, long trip up north for the game against Workington, and hopefully it'll be the best of news from there. But it's been good news here today. It finished Guiseley 2, Colwyn Bay 1, and we'll see you on Monday.